Giants Nation. What it do out there? I hope everybody is having a lovely, lovely Victory Monday today, man. I know I'm feeling super blessed today. I got the homie in the building one time. We kind of let the cat out the bag one time with one of these. That's on me one time. Let's keep that muted. But I got the homie in the building one time. Big Pat Sports Talk. Y'all know what it is, man. Let's see some biceps in the chat for the homie one time. Man, what a game we just saw on Sunday from the New York Giants. Let me get this intro popping one time, and then we're going to bring Big Pat back up in the building one time. Like I said, let's see those biceps in the chat one time. On a day where the Giants retired the number 92 jersey for Hall of Famer Michael Strahan, the New York Giants defense showed up in a major way to make life miserable for Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. The defense intercepted Hurts 3 times on the day, forced 4 turnovers overall, and held Philadelphia to a season low in points in beating the error-prone Eagles 13-7 on Sunday. The game was the first for the Giants offense since firing offensive coordinator Jason Garrett on Tuesday, with former Browns coach and senior assistant Freddie Kitchens taking over the play-calling duties. The offense was held to just 264 yards. The 5-7 Eagles were their own worst enemy. In addition to Hurts' miscues, running back Boston Scott lost a fumble that Julian Love recovered at the New York Giants 40-yard line with just over 1 minute left in the game. The Eagles, who had their third straight 200-yard game rushing with 200-yard rushing game with 208 yards on the ground, had one more chance in the final 111, down by 6 to try to take the lead. 2 drop passes later from Jalen Reagor, and the Giants breathed a sigh of relief. So, y'all know what it is. Y'all know how we do on this show, man. This is the Giant Overreaction with your boy, Awthentik. So this is how we do here. If you see the statement on the screen and you think it is a overreaction, I'm going to need to see an O in the chat. If you see the reaction on the screen and you think that you disagree with that, I'm going to need to see a U, which means you're going to take the under. And if you need a little bit more time to maybe think about this, I'm going to need to see them hand emojis in the chat, which means you would like to take the push until further notice. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring back the homie one time on the screen. Big Pat in the building. I know a lot of y'all are familiar with Big Pat, man. He does his game tape breakdowns on Fridays, which I think are amazing. He had me on the show on Friday. We broke down a lot of Bucks tape, man, and just a lot came to light, man. Big Pat, how you feeling today, bro?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. You don't get this feeling too many times with the Giants during these past couple of years. A win after a Sunday. Cry, Eagles, cry. I'm going to say it all week. We finally beat those Eagles like the 5th time in the past 25 games, but it is what it is, man. A lot of different reactions towards the win. I'm just happy for a win. And man, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's definitely get into it, man. This was an interesting game. I know a lot of people were looking for a little bit of a boost in the offense from Freddie Kitchens calling the plays. We all know Jason Garrett got fired this past Tuesday. And for me, it was a lot of the same in this game. But, it was good to see the offense at least get a couple of little things clicking there on first down. I like what I saw out of the play action. I like the screenplay that I saw from Freddie Kitchens, too, off the flea flicker, which I think all my years of watching football for over 30-plus years, I've never seen a flea flicker go for a screen. So I do think that was kind of a little bit innovative there for sure, and playing off of what defenses expect out of Jason Garrett on a year. We've been seeing pretty much one-trick play every game, I'd say. You see at least a reverse or a reverse pass or a Kadarius Toney type trick play or something like that along the lines. And we definitely got to see that in this game. I did like that. That was very creative from Freddie Kitchens there. But let's get right into it, man. Like I said, I broke down for the chat. We got 33 in the building, 35 in the building already, man. I'm just trying to let a couple people populate and pull up. This was kind of impromptu to go a little bit earlier in the day here at around 1:30. But like I said, man, if you think the statement on the screen is a overreaction, I need you to put that O in the chat. And we really want to know what the people in the we don't call them the fan base over here on Awthentik and the Beard. We call them the fam base, because everybody that's a subscriber to Awthentik and the Beard is definitely fam. We got a bunch of day ones in the building. Let me get a couple little shout outs. I know they love when we do this on our regular show, so let me just get a couple little shout outs before we get this out the way and get moving here. Early in the building, I see the homie one time. I see Bark Nasty in the building, man. Y'all know what it is. Giants Nation in the building one time. Afghan in the building. What up, Afghan? I hope you're doing good, man, on this Victory Monday. Queen Sunday is in the building one time, holding down the whole Giants community. If you a Giants fan and you frequent the YouTube community, you definitely know who Sunday is one time.
Exactly.
She says, hey, Afghanistan, hey, Bart. She also said, what's up, guys? Who else is in the building one time? Jameson's in the building. Shout out Jameson in the building. My man Miz is in the building one time. He frequents the panel over there at Big Pat's Sports Talk channel. Let me see what he says here. I can't really catch the typo there, but he says bad news, Washington in a line of fire. I like that, Miz. That's what's up, man. Miz is definitely in the building one time. I see the homie Lax 044 in the building one time. Man, all my day ones pulling up, showing what's up. 40 Luck in the building. What's up, fam? I hope you having a good Monday yourself. Marjorie is in the building. Queen Marjorie breaking down all the stats. Lucas in the building. My day one. I hope you're doing good over there in Aussie, my man Lucas one time. Bunch of New York Giants fans pulling up. Wildin is in the building, man. Me and Wildin, we definitely see eye to eye on the quarterback situation happening right now with the New York Giants. We definitely going to get into that, man. Stick around. Afghan in the building. What up, fam? How you living? Hope all is well. Josh is in the building one time. The intro is gas. I think Josh might be a new visitor of Awthentik in the Beard. Today we got Big Pat Sports Talk in the building, man. If y'all don't know, we do shows on Monday. We do the Giant Overreaction like we're doing today. I feature a New York Giants content creator most of the time we do this show. Tuesdays we do our recap of Sunday's games. Thursdays we do our previews. And Sunday, make sure to come check us out on Sunday for the parlay. The parlay is at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. And Tuesdays and Thursdays, y'all know how we do it, Awthentik in the Beard, the previews and the recaps. Man, so I want to get into this, man. I got about a good hour to go over this game. I brought up 3 questions here. Shout out Eric Morales in the building one time, too. I see you in the building. Perry Mack is in the building. Man, we lit. We got everybody in the building. The Beard is in the building in the chat showing love. Let's go. Y'all know what it is. Sir Knox Connection representing them Houston Texans in the building one time, man. Who else we got in the building? Hey, my man Hefe's in the building one time. What's up, fam? Y'all make sure to go check out Hefe, man. He does the weekly Giants kind of vibes of what the fan base is like. Great acting in those videos. A lot of humor going on in those videos. I definitely dig what Hefe is putting down over there. Our resident Cowboys queen in the building one time. What's going on, Monique? Who else in the building? Ed Squires. I got to get my day ones out the way. You know what I'm saying? Shane is in the building. I think Shane is a new face. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button if you were a new viewer of Awthentik in the Beard for the first time today. Nate is in the building one time, man. I'm going to let this whole beat run and get as many as I can. Josh is in the building one time. Who else we got? Nate. Hope I ain't missed nobody. All right, we looking good. We got everybody in the building. I see Word is in the building, too. Shout out to homie Word, man. That's another one of our day ones over here at Awthentik in the Beard. All right, now we let the heat run out. You know what I'm saying? We let the heat run out. It's time to really get into it now. It's time to really get to it here. All right, so we're going to put Big Pat on the spot here. We're going to allow the chat to kind of populate their answers just a little bit. So it's kind of like a little bit of Jeopardy vibes. I'll play a beat after I ask you the question. You'll get a little bit of time to think on it. If you want to look in the chat for a couple little hints, a little vibe where you want to go. I did show you the questions going on the show backstage. I see Ash Money's in the building. I can't go to the show without shouting out the homie Ash Money in the building. Giants Nation is in the building. And if you're not a Giants fan, you know what it is.
Spike don't care.
All right, man. So, the Formula Fitness in the building. I think that might be a new one time. Giants feeling real good on Monday, man. It's always good to get a victory. I don't care. Ugly, pretty, average, mediocre, whatever it is, a win is a win. Y'all know what it is. And we're going to get to one of those questions to kind of talk about how the game went for sure. But let's get into this first one, man. Let's take it right into it here. Y'all know what it is. Those just pulling up. This is week 12 of the Giant Overreaction featuring the homie Big Pat. Make sure y'all go sub up to Big Pat. We're going to be talking a lot of New York Giants football here for the next hour. Stay tuned. Spread the word. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're a new subscriber in the building. But let's get right to it. We know Jason Garrett was fired on last Tuesday here. A lot of Giants fans were looking for that spark from this offense. We saw a couple little good things here, but let's get right here into this first question here. Now, it's actually a statement here that I got from a YouTube comment here, because y'all know how I do late night. I'm scouring YouTubes. I'm trying to see who's talking that real, who's talking optimistic, who's talking pessimistic. Y'all know here on Awthentik in the Beard, we like to keep it very realistic. That's been the theme of the season. Now, Freddie Kitchens' play calling is not good enough to save anyone's job in New York. Chat, I'm going to need y'all to put a O. If you think this is an overreaction And maybe Freddie Kitchens is good enough to make things work here in New York and maybe save a couple of jobs, including Joe Judge. We know Dave Gettleman is definitely on that hot seat with reports coming out this week that he probably will no longer be in the Giants front office entering the 2022 season next season. So I'm going to give you all just a little bit of time here. Let me check the chat one time. And we can get to this super chat right here one time on that as well. My man Josh Latore in the building one time. We appreciate that $5 super chat, bro. We appreciate your presence in the building, man. That's more important, man. You know, this channel is just to support Giants Nation and for Awthentik to get his thoughts out. You know what I'm saying? And bring on a guest to get his thoughts out today. We got Big Pat Sports Talk on here. Josh says, just want to give a quick shout out to my boy Chris Myrick, who cashed the first touchdown scorer at plus 10,000. Also a big fan of the show, my guy. Appreciate you pulling up, fam. You know what it is, man. Awthentik in the beer. Today we got Big Pat, man. Definitely appreciate that $5 super chat. Y'all know what it is, man. Giants Nation is in the building one time. I'm gonna try to keep my eyes over here, man, on this super chat one time. Y'all know how this goes. I'll be missing them all the time, man. It's crazy. So most of the people in the chat, we looking like we got a couple of U's to start off. I got a U from my man Perry Mack in the building one time. I got a U from Josh, who just gave us that super chat. Thank you again. I got a U from Word. I got a push from the homie Lax. He wants a little bit more time to get some thoughts on that one. Nate Talk Sports takes the U. Cernox Connection takes the U. Jameson says that this is an overreaction. We got our first overreaction from the homie Jameson one time, who's always in the Giants community one time. William Meyer says that this is also an overreaction. Possibly thinks that Freddie Kitchen might be able to save some jobs in New York. Shout out my homie James Jones one time in the building. He says that this is an overreaction. Kevin the PRF, day one in here, Washington football team fan, I believe, takes the U one time. Says that this is not an overreaction. 40 Luck, not enough time. Bark Nasty wants to push. I'm surprised on that, Bark Nasty. I'm definitely surprised on that one. Wild and Plug takes the U. Doesn't agree. 40 Luck with the overreaction. Jameson Taylor again with the overreaction. Matthew in the building one time. Shout out Matthew. He takes the U one time in the building. Mike K says Giants D played great. I didn't see enough on offense to have an opinion, so he's going to want to push on this. I think we've given our guest enough time on this one. Big Pat has had enough time with the Awthentik Jeopardy beats playing in the background one time.
Man, I love the beats, man. I can't stop out of my head.
I appreciate it, fam. So Freddie Kitchens' play calling is not good enough to save anyone's job in New York. Do you think this is an overreaction?
I'm going to take the U. I'm going to take an underreaction because I think the only way that jobs could be saved in New York is up to the offensive line of Daniel Jones. Reason why I say that is offensive line has to block in order for us to get a run game, which will actually help out Daniel Jones in the passing game. And Daniel Jones has to get his pocket presence up, which he showed a little bit of that in the last game. I'm not going to lie. He ran a couple of times where I think he should have ran, and he stepped up in that pocket pretty well this past game. But the play calling is upon what the offensive line does and what your quarterback does with time when he gets it. So in order to save jobs, I'm telling you, Daniel Jones is going to have to – I'm not going to say he's going to have to throw up 40 touchdowns or anything like that, but he's going to have to show major improvement. And his offensive line, man, those three pieces, Nate Solder, Billy Price, and Hernandez, man, we got to find some replacements or they're going to have to play a whole lot more better than what they're playing. Just plain and simple. It doesn't matter what Kitchen's called. If that offensive line is not blocking, we don't have a run game. And we have a quarterback here, folks, no offense, that needs a run game to be successful. Because if you put that ball in his hands 40 to 50 times, something's going to go wrong. Because I think his pocket presence just hasn't developed like it's supposed to from a top 6 pick. So not trashing Daniel Jones. He has to be better, and that offensive line has to be better. And, yes, the play calling has to be better, but I think the play calling was done pretty well last week. We seen Ross go over on a drag and Slayton do a drag. It was the same play, but they mirrored it. And so that confused the Eagles a little bit. And Daniel Jones stepped in that pocket and made a good throw. So I can't give you a fair evaluation of Daniel Jones until this offensive line shows that they can be competent. So I got to take the under.
I like the direction you're going with this. Let me get this super chat one time from the homie Lax. Oh, fo in the building one time, man. We appreciate you pulling up, Lax. You know what it is, man. It's one of my day ones here. Been rocking with Authentic and the Beard since the birth of this podcast. He says, I like some of the concepts he ran yesterday and some of the plays. He needs more than 2 days to implement his changes. That's true. And one thing I'll add, I appreciate that, Lax. Definitely appreciate you pulling up with the $5 super chat, brother. You know what it is, man. Big love for you over here. That's fam one time in the building. I agree with that. I saw some, a few minor changes in the game plan here, particularly on first down. You saw Freddie Kitchens, excelling with Daniel Jones in the play action on first down. Third down was a different story, and we definitely going to get to that. Daniel Jones on the day, I think, his quarterback play is not going to make a play caller look that great. I'm starting to think that the ball not being thrown down the field has maybe more to do with Daniel Jones and Joe Judge than it does to do with any one of these offensive coordinators that we've seen in the first 12 weeks of the New York Giants football season. I think that Jason Garrett might have been trying to push the ball a little bit, although we know that his whole philosophy is predicated on comeback routes and then trying to open it up in the vertical passing game. So you have to be effective with those shorter routes to then get the safeties to kind of bump up, to then try to throw it over the top with the Jason Garrett scheme. And here with Freddie Kitchens, Daniel Jones, 19 of 30 for 202 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. I think that kind of stat line says more about Daniel Jones than it does about Freddie Kitchens. Daniel Jones has been a quarterback that has struggled to put together, multiple touchdowns in his games throughout his whole career. One thing I didn't really like about what Freddie Kitchens was doing with him, they're still running Daniel a little bit too much. I know they think this is a mobile, athletic quarterback. For me, you got to keep Daniel Jones upright, because if we have to go to our backup options in Mike Glennon, we're going to be in a pickle, to say the least. Because right now the Giants, with the NFC not underperforming this year pretty much, the Giants still kind of got a chance if they can play some winning football here the last, couple weeks of the season. We got a chance to try to make a playoff run here. I'm not hanging my hat on that at all right now. The Giants have been a bad team all season long, but it's the same story as last year. With 6 wins last year, we were still trying to win the division. So I'm not going to give up on this team by no means. If there's a chance, there's a chance. Where there's a will, there's a way. So I'm looking for that for sure. But 9 carries for 30 yards, just a little too much for me. And when you look at that second run that Daniel Jones had in this game, he almost got killed. I thought 100% sure he was going to have a concussion coming up after that hit on his first carry of the day. The other thing that I thought was a little bit, it just very immature for me as a play caller. They came out this week and they said Kenny Golladay is going to get a touchdown, which let me know that they were definitely going to target Kenny Golladay in the red zone for sure. And they're desperate to get one of their big money playmakers involved in the red zone offense and just scoring points. I mean, everybody's running around with that stat. Andrew Thomas got more touchdowns than Kenny Golladay and Kadarius Toney, which is a disgrace when you're looking at it from an offensive coordinator standpoint and the quarterback standpoint. Golladay was targeted 7 times in this game, but he only had 3 receptions for 50 yards. It just felt forced. The 2 red zone fade route attempts where Daniel Jones definitely needs work on those routes. He's not placing those balls in a perfect position for Kenny Golladay to go up there and make a big play. You need those high and away from the defenders in those kind of situations, kind of like how he did to Evan Ingram on that one that was on the first drive. I can't remember what game that was, but I know it was the first drive against the Raiders. Thank you for that. You want that up high. You don't want to have Kenny Golladay trying to Randy Moss his vibe into a touchdown. Just put that ball up high and away. It's a one-on-one type of play. And Freddie Kitchens can do nothing about that. So for me, I got to agree with you on this one. I'm going to take the under. I don't think that this is an overreaction. I don't think that Freddie Kitchens' play calling is going to be good enough to be able to save anybody's job. And maybe that does say a little bit more about the quarterback. I got to keep it funky because I don't know with this quarterback starting if it's going to be able to save anybody's job, because it's just consistency with Daniel Jones. You get these games like this where we're struggling to get the ball in the end zone. Our red zone offense, 1 of 3. It's the same old story. The Giants were 3 for 12 on third downs. And I don't know if play calling is going to be able to fix those kind of things, if you know what I mean. So I'm with you. I'm taking the under. Let me just kind of gaze on the chat real quick and just make sure, see if anybody added anything to this. Amazing Guy says, can the Giants please stop starting Nate Solder? It's a good point right there, because Nate Solder has played awful football this year. I just think that the Giants don't really got many options, and I think we got to look to the front office for that. Dave Gettleman, they didn't address this offensive line until about 4 days going into week 1. They knew what Nate Solder was. We saw him play, not in the COVID season, but the season before that. Very average, very overpaid. We all know that. And Marjorie here says, well, DJ definitely looked better than Hurts in this game. Yeah, and we'll get to that too. Hurts, he had an awful game. And a lot of,
Terrible.
in what I'm saying about Freddie Kitchens not being able to dictate whether or not Daniel Jones plays well or high level. I'll call it high level football. Is more on Daniel Jones. For Sirianni in Jalen Hurts situation, that guy's not a thrower. I don't know why they had him throw the ball 31 times in this game when it was clear as day that the running was gashing the New York Giants all day. I think Jalen Hurts ended the day with 77 yards rushing, and it was only about 8 or 9 carries. I would have just hung my hat on running the ball with Jalen Hurts all day in this game. There was no way I would have had him drop back, throw it 31 times, especially after I saw the 2 interceptions and the bonehead mistake before the half that Jalen Hurts made. To me, that speaks volumes about your coaching. Just like how I feel like with the penalties that the Giants have been getting in the red zone, to me that speaks volumes about your quarterback because you got to get in that huddle and reassure guys. You got to be like, hey, look, this is the situation. Daniel Jones is a third-year starter in this league. He should be able to go into that huddle and make sure the guys aren't jumping off sides, getting holding penalties in critical situations. On the flip side of that, Jalen Hurts still hasn't even played 16 games. So I'm looking for the coach to really set up a lot of the down and distance and just situational football for a guy like Jalen Hurts, who doesn't strike me as one of the smarter minds at quarterback as far as the 32 starters in the league. So for me, it just looked like with 8 seconds left in the half, you allow your quarterback to scramble out on a third down and you come away with no points when you could have a kid playing Madden, managing the clock there and managing the game there. He's going to throw the ball away and kick the field goal, and you're going to come away with 3. But what's your thoughts on some of that play from Jalen Hurts and some of the game plan issues that Sirianni faced in this game against the Giants?
I'm going to be honest with you, man. They should have kept running the ball against us. They were killing us against the run. Danny Shelton in the middle, I don't know why he's playing either. He's just like the Nate Solder of the defense. The guy just gets moved.
That's a good point.
So far off the line of scrimmage, it's ridiculous. He's almost 400 pounds for no reason. And every time he gets in there, we get gashed right up the middle. Their what do you call that? The RPO was working very well. Jalen Hurts was keeping that ball, and he was gashing us the whole time. So. Unfortunately for them, they made mistakes. The red zone interception right there, right before halftime, was a major mistake. We see that Jalen Hurts really needs to work on his deep ball. Sometimes he can be pretty accurate, but most of the times he's inaccurate and he's late. And I think the Giants were hitting him a whole lot, though. I think they came up with the game plan. Every time he doesn't keep that ball, so I don't care what that running back does, DN hit him. And I think that took a little bit of toll on him, too, because he was taking some hits. He was taking some major hits from Lorenzo Carter and Roche when he didn't keep the ball.
Yeah.
As far as Jalen Hurts as a passer, he's got a lot of work to do.
Definitely.
That just proves that he got a lot of work to do. A lot of this stuff comes off improvising because he's just that athlete. He's just that dude that knows, hey, this guy's coming. Let me put a quick move on him, and he's gone. And he gets a lot of rushing yards, and we forced them to pass. For some reason, they just did not stick with that run in the second half because I believe if they kept running the ball, it would have been a totally different game because for some reason, we have loyalty to guys on this team that don't do anything.
Yeah.
Danny Shelton, I don't understand why he's in the game. Austin Johnson does better pass rush and run scheme. And Nate Solder, he's just a lost cause, man. I don't think he's been working out the past 2 years, and it's showing. And he's just giving up pressure like crazy. And Hernandez is playing just like him. And we all know what Billy Price is. Those are 4 guys that I think that need to be replaced. Let's see what Brett Hagee has off the practice squad. Let's see if Isaiah Wilson can do anything out there. He's back in shape. He's lost the weight you asked him to lose. Let's put him in there at right guard and let Matt Pert play right tackle because he cannot be worse than what Nate Solder is doing. He can't.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what these guys can give you so we'll know what to do in the future. But as far as Jalen Hurts, he has a lot of work to do. I still think you can build around the guy. You give him a solid run game. He's a good quarterback as long as you don't make him pass. I say Jalen Hurts should pass the ball 30 times at the max.
Definitely at the maximum.
If you're down at the max. But him throwing 31 to 40 times is not going to be good.
Yeah, that's recipe for disaster for the Eagles, and I thought it was very apparent. But sometimes, and this is why they say your OC should be up in the box sometimes, so that they could really see the whole field and see how things are working. I mean, for me, watching the game on TV, it was just so obvious. Like all they had to do was run the read zone and RPOs, and they could have, made their offense click all day. Like I said in the intro, over 200 yards rushing now for the third straight game for the Eagles. For the Eagles fans, unfortunately, this comes in a loss, and for Giants fans, I mean, this was a great defensive performance by our secondary. They really stood up. I think they were the one unit that shined in this game. But I want to take this one question I saw from I think I saw it from Mac, the Giants fan. Let me see where'd that one go.
Mac, what's good?
Oh, this one was actually from Perry Mac. My bad. This one's from Perry Mac. It says, "Is this a product of a bad roster? Rather Judge get full range and fire Gettleman or start over." So I agree with him on the second half of this. If you're going to allow Joe Judge to continue to be the head coach for the New York Giants, I think you got to find a way to let him bring in his guys. And we don't know how much of this is really on Judge as well, too, because as the head coach, I would think that there would be urgency to address some of these issues, especially on the offensive line. We got issues up front on the defensive line as well. Blake Martinez going down, early in the year. We take a little while to address the linebacker, inside linebacker position for the New York Giants. It took us about 2 weeks to go out there and sign people. We've seen it on the offensive line all year long. I've been begging for another running back to pair with Booker and Saquon Barkley. I feel like we need a third running back because Saquon Barkley has looked banged up. In this game, I think he only had about 40 yards, and he had the big run for 30-something. So, I mean, outside of that big run, it's like Saquon Barkley's pretty much getting no yards. A lot of that is on the offensive line, but also we're looking for Saquon Barkley to be that guy he was his rookie year and not allow the first tackler to get in the backfield and take him down. Saquon Barkley used to make the first man miss every time. And I saw Amazing Guy talking about how we went out there and we traded for Ben Bredeson, a guy who's pretty much been useless on this offensive line as well. The Giants have been struggling. That's the one thing Dave Gettleman talked about rebuilding was the offensive line, and it's still one of the biggest problems on the Giants team right now. I really want that offensive line to get fixed so we can really just rid all the excuses that we have for the quarterback right now. And because, I mean, things can't be perfect at all times. I look for the Giants to try to find ways to win games ugly like they did on Sunday. So fortunate for us, we definitely got the W in this. Seems like the general consensus in the chat today is that everybody's taking the under on this one right here. This is not an overreaction. Freddie Kitchens' play calling is probably not going to save any more jobs, than Jason Garrett would have saved any jobs for the Giants. I like what Freddie Kitchens did with Evan Ingram in this. He had 6 targets. 3 receptions on the day for 37 yards, and that stat line seems a little minuscule, but in the game, it definitely paid dividends for sure. I'm going to take this one super chat from the homie, Kathinji Kanoti, one time in the building. He says, "What up, fellas? They talked about the absurdity of Solder still playing. It can't be just loyalty. O'Shane, Carter, Shelton all got tons of playing time. Lack of real depth still kills us." Man, spot on one time. Giants Nation, y'all know what it is. We in the building. And the fam in the chat dropping gems as well. Nothing could be truer than this statement right here because the loyalty to some of these guys still playing is definitely ridiculous. And I got to chalk it up to, the last sentence you say there, lack of real depth, man. They don't have any depth. So the guys that we're seeing out there are probably the best of what we have on the roster. But I got to agree with Big Pat on this one, man. We got to find a way to maybe bring in some guys from the practice squad, give some guys an opportunity, especially once we realize that we're out of playoff contention for sure and be mathematically eliminated. I want to see some of these younger guys playing as well.
Right. I mean, it can't get any worse. Hernandez can't pick up a stunt to save his life. Billy Price can't stay upright half the time, and Nate Solder, he's just there. It's like he's smoke, man. They just run straight through him. Like
yeah, they treat him like he's not even there. And going back to the Bucs game, it almost feels like a lot of it is kind of influencing a lot of the other guys on the line. When we were doing the game breakdown for the Bucs game on your channel on Friday, the one play that stood out to me was the read option that Daniel Jones had in the red zone at the goal line, where you got Andrew Thomas just completely whiffing on the block, and it's a touchdown if he makes that block. And then there was another screen play that you showed earlier in the game. I forget who that was out front. I want to say it was number 69 on the Giants, and he just couldn't. Price. He couldn't even make just a one-hand block, just to free up. That was actually with John Ross on a quick little stop route. And, you were talking about how John Ross could have been off to the races if you just make that one block. So, this whole offensive line unit, I don't want it to be where we're just hanging our hats on a young guy like Andrew Thomas, just in his first couple of years in the league. I'd like to bring in some guys that make Andrew Thomas look like an average player, and then you'll be looking at a much improved offensive line that we can, really be confident with a quarterback like Daniel Jones behind.
And that's just to say how bad our offensive line, and a guy that's whiffing like that on an RPO is our best lineman by far.
Yeah.
So that just tells you how bad this offensive line is. That's why I had to take the under on the Freddie Kitchens, because it doesn't matter. You could be a guru at play caller. You only gonna be able to do so much if the offensive line can't block and you can't trust your quarterback. Hopefully that changes. I mean, this is probably gonna be the best 7-game stretch for this Giants team, because I think this is really going to show exactly who this Giants team is. Well, with the firing of Jason Garrett, that takes away the excuse of play calling.
Yeah. One less excuse to rely on.
Yeah, one less excuse. The less excuses you have, the better your team could get, or you see that you have to get better players. And that's what this team needs right now. And that offensive line and Daniel Jones are showing you exactly who they are. I mean, thank God we won the game. Thank God the defense came up with 4 turnovers, but a lot of people were right. I just think they were saying it at the worst time because they just got to win. You don't want to say it right after a win, give it a little bit of time. But yes, the offense did look inept again yesterday. And like I said, it's going to show. Let's see what they do against Miami. I mean, you only had a couple of days. Let's see what a whole week of preparation does. Hopefully it gets better. I think Daniel Jones could get better, but this offensive line, man, you just got to make some changes, man. You just got to put some people out. I'd rather see Cunningham out there. I know that this guy's an undrafted free agent, but God dog, he can't do as bad. I mean, he can't do any worse than what Nate Solder's doing, so give him a chance.
Yeah, and sometimes you give a guy that chance, to get in the game and play, and sometimes they'll elevate their play.
Right.
When the bright lights are on, there are certain players that are going to shrink and they're going to actually become worse players, and there are other players that'll actually, they thrive off the bright lights and they become better players as they get in, situations where they can actually receive some playing time. So for me, man, I definitely agree with the chat on that last one. I'm going to definitely take the under on that one too as well, man. I like what the chat is talking here. Try to keep these a little bit more conservative and not be so outlandish on these overreactions, just so we could actually have some good conversation about the Giants for sure, man. But y'all know what it is, man. Awthentik in the beard. I got Big Pat one time here in the building, man, chopping it up with us right now on the Week 12 version of the Giant Overreaction. Let's get into this next one here one time, man. This, to me, this is my favorite one right here. And I was watching my homie online, Big Blue, this morning. He dropped a video, and I kind of paraphrased this one a little bit. He put a win as a win after the statement, but I wanted to put it before the statement just to let people know where his thinking was, because it's hard to just take a quote, and I don't want anybody to kind of, run with this quote and kind of, just kind of take it out of context just a little bit. But my man Tim from Online Big Blue, shout out to him. Make sure you go sub up to him if you're not subbed up to him. He's one of the Giants fans and content creators that definitely keep it 100 on his channel. He says, a win is a win, but the Giants got lucky. Now, chat, I need to know one time. If you think this is an overreaction from Online Big Blue, I need to see an O in the chat one time. If you agree with what he's saying, I need to see a U in the chat. We're going to take the under on this one. This is one that I don't know if we could take the push on. You could be a sucker one time and take the push on this one, but I'm going to know where you stand. You know what I'm saying? If you take the push on this one. I want to see more O's and more U's on this topic here. We're going to give y'all a little bit of time to let that populate while the music plays here, man. Big Pat, get your thoughts together. We're going to go to you first on this one, because I think I'm going to kill this segment. I'm going to kill this segment.
All right.
So far, I'm seeing a lot of, let's see. Okay, so right off the bat, I got a couple of O's. Shout out to Fluid one time in the building. He says this is an overreaction. He believes the Giants didn't get lucky in this game. Lax 044, what up, fam? Giants Nation in the building. He says this is an overreaction. He believes the Giants did not get lucky, played winning football, and did enough to get the W. My man NY Chris in the building. He thinks this is an overreaction as well. Shout out to homie NY Chris in the building. Kathenji takes the U. Wild and Plug takes the U. I know Wild and Plug now. Me and Wild and Plug, we think a lot alike. He definitely took the U one time. Matthew in the building one time. Shout out to Matthew, man. For those of y'all who aren't subbed up to the channel, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button right now. I've been losing subscribers left and right for my Daniel Jones takes. We need to get those subscribers back up. But y'all know what it is, man. We're going to keep it funky over here on Awthentik in the Beard. That's just what it is. But welcome to the fam, my man Matthew. I'm trying to pronounce that last name, Gorseca, maybe. I'm probably butchering that, but salute to you in the building one time. The homie Bubs is in the building one time. He takes the U on this one. He says that he does not think this is an overreaction. Marjorie, homie Marjorie in the building one time, takes the O. She says this is an overreaction. Edward Squires, my homie in the building with the GQ name. Y'all know what it is, man. My day one time in the building, takes the U. He thinks that this is not an overreaction. Oh, this is a new name in the building one time, too. AMS is in the building one time. 1602 takes the U. Perry Mack takes the O. And Lax044 says, oh, we won the turnover battle 4-0. The Eagles got lucky. Our offense sucks. Shout out to Lax.
That's a good take.
In the building, that's a really good take. So, Big Pat, I gave you the Authentic Jeopardy beats one time. You had about a good minute and a half to think about this one. Now, a win is a win, but the Giants got lucky. Do you think this is an overreaction and you're going to take the O, or is this one where you are going to take the under?
All right, man. I don't really like to talk about luck, but if you're gonna be real, you got to take the U. We did get a little lucky that Jalen Hurts is very inaccurate. I'm gonna tell you a couple of plays we got lucky on. That last play, that very last play, that should have been a catch, man. That should have been a catch, and he should have backed up into the end zone for a touchdown.
Oh, and the one to Jalen Reagor, yep.
Yeah, and the play, I think that was Reagor again, on the left side where Robinson was behind him a little bit, and it went off his hands, and we should have picked it off. But man, we got a little lucky that that Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts, because I think if we would have played a Ryan Tannehill with that team or someone that's a little bit more crisp at passing, I think we would have lost that game because the offense couldn't pull through, and then we missed the field goal as well. So I think we got a little lucky that game. But hey, I take a win. A win is a win. Just like Online Big Blue, shout out to Tim, says a win is a win. Our defense did play amazing. Don't take that away from the defense. The defense played amazing that whole game. But there was a couple of plays that could have been had. Let's say if they get that field goal before halftime, that might change the momentum of the whole game, or a touchdown before halftime. But Jalen Hurts did a Jalen Hurts thing. He tried to throw it to Boston Scott. I don't know why he tried to right there. Should have just threw it out of bounds. But I got to take the U on this one right here. Hopefully we can get it together next week where this offense could put up some touchdowns early against the Miami Dolphins. Let's go crush the Miami Dolphins. But I got to take the U Authentic.
Yeah, and the Miami Dolphins right now are coming in hot. They're on a 4-game winning streak. They've been sticking to the running game themselves pretty heavy, kind of reminiscent of the Philadelphia Eagles entering this game as well. Now, for me, I'm going to keep it straight up funky with y'all. Definitely not taking the O on this one. I'm taking the U on this one 1,000% because, look, in this game, outside of our secondary playing a fantastic game, really nobody else really showed up in this game. One thing that I think a lot of Giants fans are going to look over because of the 4 turnovers is that the Eagles still put up over 200 rushing yards on our defense, and that is not good. Yeah, we were outgained by 58 yards on offense as well. The Giants were 1 for 3 in the red zone. The Eagles were 1 of 2. The Giants were also 3 for 12 on third downs. That's pretty awful. So we lost the third down battle. I think the Eagles were like 4 of 16 or 4 of 11 on third down. So we lost the third down battle. Jalen Reagor, you brought up the Jalen Reagor drops. I thought that those were pivotal because this is the one thing I look at in a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, okay? He comes out there, he played his worst game. There is no arguing to it. He played his worst game as a professional in the NFL, played his complete worst game, and still had a chance to win that game late. And I never saw his confidence waver, like I would say about our quarterback and Daniel Jones. Sometimes you see his confidence waver. You know, you look at that Rams game where he's just throwing interceptions left and right, and then it's almost like the team gives up around him. I feel like the team around Jalen Hurts, they never quite gave up in this game, and Jalen Hurts was the main factor to re-spark their offense even after having all those turnovers. All his turnovers came in passing plays. As a coach, I think Sirianni did him a disservice by not calling the right game plan for him. You knew that the running game was working against the Giants all day long, but for some reason in a game that was never, ever more than a one-score game, you decided to drop back and throw the ball so much with Jalen Hurts. And I also see Perry Mack talking about Devonta Smith in the chat, which reminded me. Devonta Smith, I know a lot of people are looking at it like James Bradbury shut him down. Devonta Smith has never been, throughout this whole rookie campaign, has never been a guy with high volume, high targets, high receptions. Even in his big games, you look back at his birthday game, he only had 4 catches. I believe he had 2 touchdowns for over 70 yards. So he's not that guy who's going to be getting the volume like kind of what we expect from a guy like Kenny Golladay. The 4 turnovers that the Giants forced in this game, the offense only turned that into 3 points. That's awful. When you look at a game where you force the opposing team to 4 turnovers, it shouldn't even be a close game. This game should not have been close. The fact that if Jalen Hurts keeps the ball and this goes into the half, a 3-3 tie is a ridiculous, ridiculous thing. Our offense never capitalized in the first half. I noticed it early on, and I thought it was going to come back to bite us, but it didn't. Going to the passing with the Philadelphia Eagles really ruined them. You look at the second half even. 3 of the 5 second half drives were 3 and outs. In major critical moments, the Giants are going 3 and out when you need a score. Daniel Jones and Freddie Kitchens, to me, they had multiple opportunities to be able to put this game away. And I got a couple of notes that I wrote down here for times that I felt like Daniel Jones especially did not put this game away. And that is my biggest gripe with Daniel Jones is, 1, it's the inconsistency, and 2, when teams give you these windows to be able to either come back and get a game-winning drive or put them away. When you look at that Raiders game, how many opportunities we had late in that game, up by 1. All Daniel Jones got to do is drive us down, put up 7 points, and maybe the Giants go for 2, and you put the Raiders down by 9 late in the fourth quarter. They're not coming back from that. Then you look at it where the Giants are up by 4 late in that game. You get 2 first downs, 1 to Kadarius Toney, 1 to Kenny Golladay, I believe it was. And now we're driving. You get in the red zone, and the offense stalls out again, and now you got to settle for 3. Instead of making it a 10-point game with under 4 minutes left in the game, you allow it to be a 7-point game, and you allow the Raiders to get back another chance to be able to come down and drive down and maybe win this game. And this Eagles game was no different for me. Up 10-7 late in the third quarter. Twice. We had 2 opportunities up 10-7 late in the third quarter, and both times we go 3 and out. Up 13-7 with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, a 12-play drive, which was looking fantastic. But you just knew that when the Giants got down to the red zone that they were going to stall. We settled for a field goal, and now you push it to a 13-7 lead. It was actually 10-7. Now, the last opportunity for me where I was like, this is getting ridiculous, okay? Daniel Jones in this game, for one, the statistics were not great. What was it here? Let me just make sure I got this right. It was 19 of 30. Okay, that's not that great. That shows you that he's missing a lot of throws. Early on, I noticed that he was missing a lot of passes. You had that one across the middle to Kenny Golladay, which a lot of people look at as a Kenny Golladay drop because he got 2 hands on the ball. I'm catching that pass. I'll keep it funky with you. But it was on the back shoulder. And then you had another one down the sideline that was inaccurate as well, too, there. But now, this one right here was just the straw that broke the camel's back for me. You up 13-7 with just over a minute left in the game. The defense just forced that turnover. Boston Scott just fumbles. Any other team is going to put the last nail in the coffin. I promise you. I promise you. Even a team like the Jets could put the nail in the coffin on this one. You up 13-7 with just over a minute. All you need is 1 first down. The Eagles were hanging on 2 timeouts, I believe. All you need is 1 first down. All you got to do is gain 10 yards. And this is where I started to question Freddie Kitchens. You go for that run play to Barkley on first down. We know Saquon Barkley is not going to be able to close out games right now with the way that knee has been hampering him and coming back off that ankle injury. I might prefer going with Booker late in the game here when you need to drain some clock.
Power run. Yeah.
He's more of a power runner. He probably gets you 3-4 yards on a run as Saquon gets 1. Then you get a loss of 1 from Daniel Jones on the keeper. Now, this third down to me was super critical because we were backed up. You're looking at a 3rd and long. I believe it was 3rd and like 11 or something like that.
Yeah,
3rd and 12, right? They drop back and try to run some kind of a pass play, a safe one at that, which I'm okay with you trying to make it a safe pass play. But Daniel Jones is just running backwards, and what they don't realize is that they're just giving the Eagles better field position for when we punt the ball. Daniel Jones loses 8 yards, and the Giants can't gain 10 yards to close out that game. For me, this was the same old Giants. This really was the same old Giants. That looked like the Giants under Jason Garrett's tenure, which for me just makes me look at the quarterback a little bit more. And maybe a lot of these red zone issues are on the quarterback. You give Jalen Hurts another opportunity there, and he goes down there. Granted, he doesn't get the yards he needs to convert that 4th down and 10. But the touch pass that he threw to Jalen Reagor there, that looked like you're supposed to catch that. And at worst case scenario, they're running down to clock that ball. Instead, Jalen Reagor drops his 2nd pass on that drive. Jalen Reagor had an awful day. 2 drops on 7 targets. He had 2 receptions for 31 yards, let alone in a day where Jalen Hurts was awful. You can't have everybody else around him be awful. So for me, yeah, a win is a win. But this was one of those games where I didn't want to stand up throughout the whole game because I felt like, especially because it was against the Eagles, that the Giants were going to let this one go in New York Giants versus Eagles traditional fashion.
Right.
I want to say this is our 2nd win out of 10 versus the Eagles, So for me, I got to say, yeah, I could almost just take away the whole first phrase of this. A win is a win, but you could scratch that for me. The Giants definitely got lucky in this game. It reminds me of how Lamar Jackson was against the Browns last night, where he threw 4 interceptions in that game, but a good team finds a way to come out with a victory when you have a supporting cast around you, which we all know that Daniel Jones does not have around him. So for me, 1,000%, this is not an overreaction. When I heard Tim from Online Big Blue speaking on this morning, I was just like, bro, this is exactly how I feel about the game. Happy to get the win because it keeps our playoff, hopes alive.
Come on, man.
But over here, I got to keep it realistic. I'm not even talking about the playoffs till about week 14, week 15 over here with the Giants.
Unless we string about 3-4 in a row, there's no way we make it the playoffs. But I just want to speak on that last drive a little bit. I know you just talked about that last drive. That last drive proves that what we be saying about this offensive line, because that predicates your offensive line as well.
Yeah.
I know people get on Daniel Jones a lot. That last pass, I don't think you should have ran back and lost 8 yards. I don't understand. I didn't understand that. If you're going to pass the ball, just keep him right there around the line of scrimmage, around the pocket. If he doesn't have it, tell him to just fall down. Don't lose 8 yards and give them 10 more yards of field position on the punt when your punter has been trashed the whole game. Then the offensive line is terrible, bro. I don't think when it comes to situations like that, where it's like, you got to be a grown man and let's get this first down and get the hell out of New York and let's go party. We don't have that, bro. We don't have that. Any Giants fan that watches the Giants knew that we weren't going to get a first down there unless we get a pass.
You could feel it.
If we had to run the ball, I was like, okay, they're going to get this ball back with about a minute or something. That's what I said as soon as we got the fumble. Because there's who's going to power us through to get that first down? You got mano a mano, the Eagles 8 or whatever against your 7 up there. And I believe the Eagles 4 could beat our 7. So there's no way we're going to get a first down running the ball. Unless you went out there, you pulled some trick play out your behind, there's no way we was going to get a first down right there. So I was like, the defense is going to have to hold one more time for us to win this game. And that's sad to think because your offensive line is that bad where you can't get any push. Like, who has confidence when we go out there on 4th and 1s that we're going to get a 4th and 1?
Yeah, nobody does, and we've seen us fail in a multitude of fashions on 4th and short. And just when you need the yards, can you get it? I talked about how I didn't like how Freddie Kitchens gave Daniel Jones the 9 carries in this game. Sometimes when he's running the ball, it looks like he can get his head taken off. Some of those carries were on just quarterback scrambles where he saw stuff open, and I do like that skill set that Daniel Jones has for sure. But late in the game, to me, this is where you might have wanted to go with, some read option, to be honest, and put the ball in your playmaker's hands in Daniel Jones and allow him to really make a play. And it's just the conservative nature of the Giants is so predictable. If you feel like you're going to go out there for 3 running plays and only allow under 20 seconds to be taken off the clock, in a drive where you need to drain clock. We wanted to give the Eagles the ball back with way less time. Our punter was struggling all day, so you knew he wasn't going to boom one and get you out of the field position problems that you were in. To me, it screams maybe you might want to pass it on first down, to be honest. Maybe you might want to switch it up, but we know with the New York Giants' conservative nature, they're not going to do nothing too risky. They're playing to not lose games. They're not playing to actually win games. Shout out my homie Bad Dog one time in the building who pulled up. I love this statement right here. He said, fire Garrett. Oh, wait, the problem is Joe Judge. And Bad Dog, I'm 1,000% agreeance with you right there. You look at some of the clock management issues in this game. Same old story with the New York Giants. People were saying like, Daniel Jones has a wristband on, and now he's going to be able to be fluent in this offense. I mean, I'm a grown man here, bro. I played and watched a lot of football. A wristband is not going to help you with anything except communication. Just reeling in the plays, getting the play to the play caller quickly so he can get to the line of scrimmage, and then the coaches can be in his ear with the headset to be able to talk to him for a little bit longer. That's all that does for you. I don't know why people thought that a wristband was going to completely change up the offensive philosophy for the New York Giants in this game, because that's just not the case. We're entering week 12 now, and you guys thought that the offense was going to change possibly in week 12 with 4 days of preparation. There's just no way that was going to happen. So I expected this offense to move and operate in a similar fashion. The one thing that Freddie Kitchens figured out, I feel like, was to be able to get the ball in some of these wide receivers' hands quickly to be able to make some plays and get some yak, because the Giants did have 8 plays of over 10 yards in this game. And they were coming off their worst offensive output against the Bucs. I believe it was just over 210 yards of total offense. And in this game, they didn't do that much better. You're looking at just over 260 yards of total offense. That's not going to win games on a consistent basis. So for me, I got to keep it realistic over here. It still looks like to me that a lot of the problems with the Giants is coming from the quarterback situation. And I don't think that Freddie Kitchens is really the guy that's going to change that around. Today I went looking for a lot more tweets about Freddie Kitchens to try to find something that could lean towards us speaking on his play calling. And when you look up Freddie Kitchens on Twitter, it was 90% stuff about the Cleveland Browns. It wasn't even, and that's from the latest tweets. It wasn't even about the Giants. It was more about Kevin Stefanski looking like Freddie Kitchens with his play calling on Sunday night against the Ravens, and how dismal they looked. There's a lot of people were just saying that Kevin Stefanski is just the exact same coach as Freddie Kitchens. He's just more well-groomed with his beard. That's all people have been saying. So for me, I'm looking at it like I don't think Freddie Kitchens is going to be able to save this offense. The Giants were lucky enough to get a win in this for sure. And I agree with a lot of the more realistic content creators. Shout out my homie Bad Dog. If you're not subbed up to Bad Dog, which is doubtful these days,
right?
Definitely go sub up to Bad Dog for sure, man, because he keeps it real on his channel all day. And Bad Dog, I got to give him his kudos, because I was one, I'd say last season, exiting last season, entering this season, trying to convince guys like Bad Dog that Daniel Jones was the guy. And when you see how Daniel Jones has played in the third year, I don't care about the circumstances. I'm looking for a quarterback that's going to be able to elevate the people around him and make them play better. And just show me the plays. What are the plays that stand out to you in this game, Big Pat? Because for me, there were no plays offensively that really stood out in this game. We had a 1-yard touchdown where the guy caught it between his legs by the good graces of God. I think a lot of this had to do with God helping out the Giants fans, with all the losses we've suffered to the Eagles in the past years, rather than it did with our offensive play caller and our quarterback.
All right, as far as offensive plays that stand out from Daniel Jones, or just the offense in general?
You could go both. We could go both. Go offense in general, and you can include the quarterback.
In general, I was really only impressed with a couple of plays. Like I said, the couple of drags that they ran, because that was a new wrinkle in that first screenplay to Evan Ingram. Other than that, I think this offense looked the exact same. I mean, if you want to call progress where we threw it to Kenny Galladay twice in the end zone to try to get him a touchdown, I mean, we haven't done that. But that's kind of sad that your quarterback still doesn't have the wherewithal to throw a back shoulder throw to a top receiver, and that's 6'4", to throw a back shoulder throw to make it easier for him to catch it. He's throwing it like, I don't know, man. He was just inaccurate on those passes. There was a pass interference on at least one of them, but we're an offense that can't even execute a back shoulder throw. And we have a 6'6" receiver, a 6'7" tight end, a 6'4" receiver, Kadarius Toney. I mean, we got weapons galore. And this offense was not impressive. I love that we won the game. The defense has been impressive so far, except for that Buccaneers game, like the past 4 to 5 games. The defense has been doing their thing. 15 turnovers in the last 7 games. That's averaging 2 turnovers a game. And our offense still can't average 17 points or 20 points.
A takeaway in every game for the New York Giants this season as well.
Yep, a takeaway every game. And maybe the offense is causing the defense to be poor sometimes too, because, man, you do get tired. I know you're a super athlete, but you do get tired running up and down that field all day chasing these receivers around.
Yeah.
And, you got Songs Gear saying – I wasn't. I mean, let's be honest with it. I wasn't impressed with the offense. It wasn't no brand new offense everybody was looking for, but I wasn't impressed, but I wasn't expecting to be impressed because you only have 4 days to implement something, and it's the same playbook.
Yeah.
And I see Bagdog says Jones is not the O line. Jones' problem is how slowly he processes plays and lack of progression through reads. He locks on one receiver. His poor decision making is not the O line. Yeah, 75% Jones, 25% O line in situations like that. But that O line is trash, Bad Dog. I'm not gonna lie. We probably have the worst O line in the league. But then you got kids like I said on my stream the other day, you got kids like Josh Johnson who comes in with the Jets. Unfortunately, he was let go for Joe Flacco that came in and put up points with that Jets offensive line that didn't have a Mekhi Becton, and their left tackle was out. I mean, you got kids like Tyrod Taylor, although they just lost to the Jets, he still makes plays. And name somebody on the Texans.
Right.
Like
They ain't got no weapons over there. And I remember in the offseason a lot of Giants fans and content creators looking at the Texans like that could not be. There's nothing you could do with that offense, especially with all the turmoil around Deshaun Watson going into the offseason. They seemed like they were going to struggle to win a game this year. And they did beat the Jaguars opening day, I believe, and now they're looking like a team that's kind of trying to improve, but they're working with straight up scraps. And the Giants here, we're looking at 2 weeks here of a more healthy offense, and still we cannot find a way to get that ball in the end zone, man. So I got to agree with Bad Dog on this because look, the offensive line, pass protection wise, it was amazing. That was as good as it's going to get with this offensive line as far as pass protection. Now, with the running,
that's the sad part, though.
That's the sad part. And our quarterback only puts up 200 yards on 31 attempts, and it was like 13 completions on the day, 14 completions. No, that's Jalen Hurts actually. How many completions did Daniel Jones? 19 completions.
He had 19
out of 30
completions
throws.
out of 30.
And to me, that's just the kind of quarterback that he is. So I got to agree with Bad Dog 100%. Where the Giants' offensive line is lacking is in the run blocking. And we came off a game against the Raiders where they run blocked well. So I expected more of that in this game. We didn't see too much of Devontae Booker in this game, at least not making a bunch of big plays out there for sure. But I would have wanted to rely on the run a little bit more against the Philadelphia Eagles, and we didn't do that. And in return, the offense, they just struggling to put up points. It's the same story. This was what it was before Jason Garrett got here, and now it seems to be that this is what it is when Jason Garrett is gone.
I got one thing because Miz is in the comments a whole lot, man. I love the Miz. He's always on the show. Shout out to the Miz. He has a channel as well. He says that we have zero run game, and that was hurting Jones a whole lot. That is 100% fact. Daniel Jones is a quarterback that you need a strong run game, and you have to have him be careful with the ball.
Yeah.
But does that make him the man? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of quarterbacks. Yeah, the man. What I think of the man at quarterback is what people like Justin Herbert did when he didn't have an O line, real good O line, and Austin Eckler was out, and my boy Keenan Allen was out, and he still balled his rookie year. The man to me is people like Deshaun Watson, where you can't name anybody on that offense besides him, Wash Johnson, and Brandon Cooks, and he still led the league in passing. The man is people like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had a couple of bad years where he had a bad offensive line, and he still put up stats. I mean, that's the man to me.
Yeah. I would throw Josh Allen in that conversation as well,
Josh Allen too.
You look at the Bills' situation as far as running backs and running the ball. They had Singletary over there and Zach Moss, who struggled the first 2 years with Josh Allen. Both of them did not really add anything to the running game. And this year, you saw the Bills try to make an effort in the first 5-6 games to try to rely on their running game. They realize it's not working, and it's back to Josh Allen. Put the team on your shoulders, elevate the people around you to wins. And I mean, they're making guys like Emmanuel Sanders look like they're ballers still over there. And he doesn't have that many weapons over there. He's got Diggs, which I definitely credit the maturation of Josh Allen a little bit to Stephon Diggs, because when you got a premier number one wide receiver like that, who not only just goes and gets the deep pass, he can go across the middle, get the slants, get the out routes, he can get the timing routes, the post routes, he can do it all. That will make your quarterback that much better. But Josh Allen is a guy who seems to overcome the mistakes for the most part. I'd say outside of the playoffs, he can overcome the mistakes. And for me, with Daniel Jones entering his third season, that's what I thought we was going to get. I projected that Daniel Jones was going to have a better year than Josh Allen had last year when we brought over Kenny Galladay. And I got to put some of it on the offensive coordinators over here because this game was like the first time we ever saw like a 50-50 pass get thrown to Galladay. So I got to commend them at least for trying, but it was just blatantly obvious. You talked about it in the press. You came out. You made it a point that we were going to get the ball down the field to Kenny Galladay more, and then you go and you kind of throw in passes that just seemed a little bit forced to me. You know what I mean? But I want to get to this next overreaction statement because it has a lot to do with what we're talking about right now. Shout out to homie Paulie one time, Washington football team fan in the building. 13 points. The streets need another body, he says. That is definitely facts, man. Shout out to homie Paulie, man. He be chopping it up with Toothpick and a lot of other Washington football team content creators out here in the city, man. Good homie right there. Salute to you, fam. That's a great point because 13 points off 4 turnovers, that ain't it. 3 really off the turnovers. But when your team getting 4 turnovers on the opposite side of the ball, you should find a way to put up more points. You should not be outgained in yardage for sure. I don't care if Freddie Kitchens coming in off a day's rest. You know, you got to find a way to implement the game plan, and your quarterback got to find a way to be above and beyond, which is going to lead me to the next overreaction statement one time. Y'all know what it is. You tuned in to Awthentik and the Beard. I got the homie Big Pat one time in the building here chopping it up with your boy Awthentik.
Beat so far.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I cooked this one up right at the beginning of the football season, man. So we've been talking a lot of quarterback stuff. We talked a lot about the coaches. We talked a lot about the game plan. Now let's talk about the NFC East and the quarterback situation. And this one prompted me to because I was looking around and I had a tweet back maybe 2 weeks ago that I said the Giants might be in the worst quarterback situation in the NFC East. We saw Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles come into MetLife and take on Daniel Jones and the Giants. 2 of these quarterbacks, both of them didn't play well, which prompts me to put this one up on the screen. This one is from @OnlySports here on Twitter. He don't even know I actually am posting this one on the show. That's how I do. If you put it out in the public, I'm going to put it out on my show. That's how we do. We reacting over here. So neither Daniel Jones or Jalen Hurts are the long-term answer for their team. And this one, let me know if you think this is an overreaction and Daniel Jones is the franchise quarterback or Jalen Hurts is a franchise quarterback. I'm going to need you to put that if you think it's an overreaction. If you want to take the under and you agree with this statement, let me see them use in the chat one time. If you need to get the push, you need a little bit more time. Daniel Jones in his 3rd year. Jalen Hurts only played about 15 starts, I believe it is. Let me see that hand emoji one time, or let me see that push in the chat. We're going to give y'all a little bit of time to populate. Y'all vote on this one time. Give Pat a little bit of time to get his thoughts together, see how he's feeling about this one. He looks pretty confident over there. I don't even know if he needs more time, but we're going to see what it is.
About to spit a couple of bars.
My man Pat one time.
I got to tell you my brother about you, man.
Please do, man. Please do, man. Let me scroll back down here. And I'm going to take this super chat one time and give you a little bit of time to think about that one. Shouldn't expect the offense to change in 5 days. Yeah, you sure shouldn't. But with the way Giants Nation has been blaming our play caller, you would think that it's just a play calling situation and maybe not a philosophy situation. But shout out to the homie Will Casal one time in the building with the $2 super chat, man. You know what it is. If you're not subscribed to the channel, that subscribe button is somewhere right down about that way. Join the Awthentik and the Beard fam one time, man. So I think we giving Big Pat enough time, but let me scroll down here and just see what the chat is talking about one time.
A lot of U's, bro.
A lot of U's. Kevin takes the U. Mac the Giants fan. He's a big Daniel Jones supporter. He going to ride with Daniel Jones to that casket for Daniel Jones dips in the Giants dirt one time. I feel you. Shout out Mac the Giants fan in the building. Go subscribe to the homie.
Man. Good guy.
He's a good dude, man. He's always on Big Pat streams too, man. He's taking the O one time on this one. Bad Dog, that's from Jake one time. Fluid takes the U one time. Wildin takes the U. I know where Wildin stands on a lot of this. NY Giants 577 in the building one time says this is an overreaction. I'd like to know why y'all are saying this is an overreaction too. If y'all want to add that to y'all comments here. Do you think it's Daniel Jones? Do you think it's Jalen Hurts? Do you think it's maybe both of them? Have we not seen a large enough sample size for maybe both of them? Let me know what y'all thinking about that one. Sebastian takes the U. Bubs takes the U one time in the chat. Wildin' Plug says they both suck. Shout out Wildin' Plug one time in the building. How you say this one? Asa Garth. Asagar777 takes the U one time in the building, man. Salute to you. I'm digging that profile picture. Real swaggy in that one time. Miz is taking the push, I take it, by saying both still up in the air. Oh, man, we got a lot on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bad Dog, Jake wants to know if you would trade for Deshaun Watson one time in the building. Sebastian takes the O. Old man Rob in the building one time. Salute to old man Rob. He takes the U. JJ says that statement is accurate. So he's taking the U one time. Let's see here. We got Matthew one time still in the building taking the U. Please, no more time. It's been enough. That's a good point.
Man, somebody sped up.
My man, The Beard, one time, representing the Awthentik and The Beard account, says, oh, for Hurts. He's got the hand for Jones. Okay, so you think this is an overreaction. All right, that's what's up. Got it. So he needs to push for Daniel Jones, needs a little bit more time, but he does think it's an overreaction for Jalen Hurts. Y'all know The Beard is a big supporter of Jalen Hurts, thinks he's got the talent to be able to be a guy for the Eagles one time. Wildin' Plug takes the U one time. Bad Dog in the building. Shout out Bad Dog. He says Hurts can run, can't throw. Jones' throw has no pocket awareness. You know if a QB is special or not by year 2. I think he's saying neither one of them are special by that statement. I'm just kind of paraphrasing maybe, and maybe, making an assumption. But you know what they say about assumptions can have you out here looking like an ass. So I don't know. I think that's what Bad Dog is saying right there one time. You all day long from Jeff Maldo. This one, we had a lot of votes on this one. MYG True Fan says he's taking the U one time.
Shout out to True Fan.
Appreciate you pulling up one time in the building, fam. More so for Hurts. U for Jones after all this is year 3. Mac the Giants fans keeping it funky one time here on Awthentik and The Beard, saying that maybe Daniel Jones has had enough time and we got to pull the plug on that situation there. Edward Squires takes the U. Lax 044 takes the U. Mr. Mini Guy takes the U. Bambi, the GOAT in the building one time, takes the U. O's is tripping, Kevin says. I feel you on that, Kev. We're going to give our answers here, too. Jameson says U. And he's back for everybody in the building. I hope that KFC was delicious last night. Who else we got? Ash Money takes the U one time in the building.
No, Ash.
Word takes the U. 100% takes the U, he said. And last but not least, we got Miz right here who says this is an overreaction. I got another one over here. Cam one time in the building. He's taking the U. Definitely thinks that this is not an overreaction. Wildin' Plug says, I've seen enough of Jones. Wow. Okay, we got a lot. I want to make sure I didn't miss nobody here. Bad Dog definitely confirmed he's taking the U one time. Let's see who else we got. King Tone taking the U one time. King Tone is in the building one time. Miz is saying, I'll ride with Jones another year. NY True Giants fan one more time with the U. Lax 044 one time in the building. We appreciate that super chat, my G. You know what it is, man. We up here cooking this content for y'all. He's got the $4.99 super chat. He says, but there aren't much better options in the draft, so they both will be back next year. That's a good point. I like that you added the Y here in the super chat. That's a really good point about both quarterbacks, I feel. Who else we got here in the building? The Beard says Jalen Hurts might mess around and win an MVP in 3 to 4 years with the LOL. We don't know if we could take that 100% serious, but we got to take it a little bit serious for sure. Who else we got here? Bambi the GOAT, big U's one time. Cam says they're going to commit to DJ for one more year, build the line around him in the offseason, see what he does. I kind of like that right there. Just making sure I'm not missing nobody. Maybe for another team for both of them, says Ed Squires. I like that too. Jake S. takes the U one time. This is not an overreaction. Bub says Jones got to go. Shout out Bub one time.
Hey, okay, Bubs.
Let's see what Fishing is talking about here. I don't remember Fishing in here. I like that profile pic with Saquon Barkley. If you're not subbed up, Fishing, you want to join the Awthentik and the Beard family, hit that subscribe button one time. Looking at all these rookie QBs this year besides Mac Jones, I'm good on restarting and drafting a QB. That's a really good point. I don't watch a ton of college football. Been hearing my man Tim online Big Blue talking about Malik Willis. A lot of other people talking about a few other quarterbacks out there. For me, whatever we do, if we do it in the draft, I would like to get a mobile dual threat type of quarterback, man. I think it's time now. It took me a while to come around. I've been watching a lot of Any Given Sunday. That movie came out in 1999. They was dealing with the whole Cap Rooney situation, keeping the pocket passers in the pocket and keeping them as the starter for so long. I'm ready to get a guy who is a good combination of what Jalen Hurts and Daniel Jones do, maybe a fusion of the both of them and bring them in. Josh Collin or Cologne says he's taking the this is an overreaction. And King Tone says, I give DJ a push and Hurts a U. Okay, I like that right there. Bad Dog says, someone said this best. Jones is not the problem, but he's not the solution either. I've been
He's
agreeing with
not.
that for a minute here. That's big facts right there. I want to get everybody's opinion from the chat here. Just make sure we good. Bad Dog says Lamar fired 4 picks last night. LOL. That's true. And they still got the victory, which is crazy, man. Like when you can win, because I was looking at this game like there's no way that the Philadelphia Eagles should win a game where Jalen Hurts has 3 turnovers, and as a team they have 4 turnovers, and then the Ravens go out there and win a game with 4 turnovers on the back of Lamar Jackson is really crazy. Sometimes stats don't, tell the whole story. If you can come back and get the win, my man the Beard says Willie Beeman over Cap Rooney, and I'm right there with you one time. All right. So we definitely had enough time for Big Pat to get his thoughts and his wits together on this one. What you got on this one, man? Is neither Daniel Jones or Jalen Hurts are the long-term answer for their team an overreaction, or you taking the U on this one?
I got 2 answers. On Daniel Jones, I got to take a push.
Okay.
And for Jalen Hurts, I got to take an O as for right now. But I'm not mad at people that are giving U, because I'm almost on a U too on both of them. Because if you look at them, besides the Beard that's in the chat, I guess he loves Jalen Hurts.
He does.
Do you think any one of these guys can lead a team and take them to the promised land as far as the Super Bowl with them being the main character? I don't think you can, man. Reason why? If you play a team that's good against the run with Jalen Hurts, I think they're dead. That's like,
yeah.
I think they're dead, man. There's nothing in this passing game that he's shown me that he could be a consistent passer. I know he's had games for throwing over 300 yards. That's cool, but that's what that running game does for you. And if they're not wide open, let's just be real, he's not going to get it to them. And playoff football is way different from regular season. Way different. Every team's fighting for their championship lives every game, so they're going to give you their best effort most of the time. Now, sometimes a team can make it to playoffs and they get blew out because they weren't supposed to be there. They just happen to be in there, a bad division, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But as far as him being the main character, is taking the team to a Super Bowl, and that's what you want the guy to do to take you to a Super Bowl, no, not Jalen Hurts. It'll be an underreaction. But he only has, 16 games? I think he just made a full season at quarterback. So you really don't know what you have with Jalen Hurts. Maybe he can develop that next year with some more practice in the offseason. He can turn into a good passing quarterback, because if he can start to pass that ball consistently, that dude's dangerous. I don't care what anybody says. That dude is one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the league right now, because he can run that ball the way he does. And his pocket presence is off the chain. He can get away from a lot of things and make things happen. So if he added a passing game to that dude's going to be dynamite. Now with Daniel Jones, it's been 3 years, 2 full years starting. I think you should know what Daniel Jones is, man. He's a pocket passer that has feet, that he can get out the pocket a little bit, but he has straight line speed. So trying to make him like a Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts is not going to happen. He doesn't have any wiggle. His pocket presence is low. And he needs an offensive line and a run game to be successful. That's not the man. But I have to give him a push, because if you do give him an offensive line and a run game, I think you could go very far with this guy, because he does make some passes that you'd be like, oh, okay, damn, that was pretty good. But we have to give this kid a fair shake over here in New York. Miz always says it, and he's correct about that. You got to give this kid a fair shake. You knew what he was before you drafted him. You knew that this kid was a pocket quarterback that just happened to have a little bit of speed to him, but you know what he is. Put an offensive line around him. And getting the offensive line helps out the run game as well. So I want to see Daniel Jones with a just give him a mid-chip offensive line. Just like be the top 15. Don't be 32 every year.
Yeah.
and let's see what Saquon Barkley can do with a top 15 offensive line. Because be real, I think it's confidence with this guy, man. It's straight confidence. That run that he made yesterday, he showed a little bit of flash, like, oh shoot, he still got it.
He's definitely
so it's just confidence. Yeah, it's confidence. He can't get any confidence because he's not able to break runs. You're not going to be getting any confidence if you're running straight into the offensive line for for 2 yards every play. No, he got to get out there. He got to make some moves, test that knee, test that ankle, and let him feel it like, okay, I still got this. I'm still Saquon Barkley. He doesn't know he's Saquon Barkley right now. I'm gonna tell you the truth. He doesn't know who he is right now.
I'm with you on that. He's running way less confident now. I did
Yeah,
call he was going to
you can
break that
see it in
run
his
though. I knew
face.
that was going to happen, but the short yardage and the just taking what's there, I think is messing with his mind. It's like Garrett running the offense. I think that they kind of tried to implement that whole vibe of what Ezekiel Elliott does well, where when there's
Yeah,
nothing there, just lower your shoulders and try to get a couple yards, keep it second down manageable and especially third down. But that's really not Saquon's style, which is I've been saying it for years and years and years now, man. They got to use that guy like Alvin Kamara, and you need another back in the system, which is why the Saints went out there and they re-signed or they traded for Mark Ingram because they knew that they're going to need another back to pair with Alvin Kamara. That the best success that we've seen from Alvin Kamara is when he has another running back over there. It was Latavius Murray for a little bit there, and it was Mark Ingram for a while,
they
and
always
Kamara's
had a
still
power
not
back
over
to
a
pair
thousand
with him.
yards. Yeah,
Yeah, they
you
always,
know.
and he's never. That's crazy because the stats that he put up in fantasy, you would think this guy's over 1,000 yards every. No, it's not. The
You would
dude's
think
he's
that
around
never got
800
a
yards
thousand.
rushing and about
Mm-hmm.
900 to 1,000 yards receiving with a lot of receiving touchdowns because that's the way they use him.
Yep.
And Bad Dog, man, you gotta invite me to the channel one time because you always say something that challenges somebody what they say. He said in 2018, our O line was trash. Barkley crushed it because Eli changed blocking schemes
Yeah.
at the line for Barkley to succeed. Jones can't do that. And
Yeah.
that's an absolutely true statement.
It's a great point.
It's a statement that a lot of people are not going to like, but that's a true statement. Eli Manning was very smart at the line of scrimmage, and he did change a lot of things at that offensive line. Now, what I would say to that is that Daniel Jones can't do it, or was he not allowed to do it? Did they call him because they just wanted to be what do you call it, a conservative team? Because that's the mindset I get from Joe Judge, very conservative.
Yeah.
Or or is it he just can't do it? Is it the reason why he just now getting the wristband at week 12? And the wristband doesn't mean anything, but I just like it because the plays are right there on his wrist. So if there is a miscommunication with the audio, he can just go to his wrist and be like, okay, I'll run this play.
Yeah.
But
And we saw communication issues on the one drive that the
mm-hmm.
Giants had in the third quarter. I mean, was just god awful. Where they ran that screen pass and you had three guys going out trying to block on the screenplay and no one was actually trying to catch the ball and Daniel Jones just throws it into a pile of blockers. So it's like
And thank
still
God it
having
didn't bounce off his
communication issues.
leg.
I guess we can chop that up to a short week, but Bad Dog definitely makes a great point here. Eli Manning was so good pre-snap, and Daniel Jones is just he's awful pre-snap, if you ask me. When you look at the mesh concept that everybody broke down against the Bucks game, and they're like, why are three of our wide receivers in one location? Well, at the line, you got to find a way to try to figure out if the Bucks defense is in zone or if they're in man, because the mesh concept is meant to run against a man defense, not a zone defense.
Exactly.
They faked them out with the blitz, and then on top of that, the offensive line they only they're only rushing three players on that play. The Bucks are, and the offensive line, the five guys up front can't block three guys. You got two people just completely lost. Daniel Jones still has to get rid of the ball quickly. So it is a combination of offensive line and Daniel Jones pre-snap read being slow. And Daniel reads the field slow just in general. So when it comes time to check down to Saquon Barkley, he's normally late, not giving his running back a good opportunity to be able to catch the ball and go. I don't know if you remember the play from this game where he hit Saquon Barkley on that short route. It was like a little short baby out route in the flats, and Saquon just knew that the zone cornerback was going to be right on his hip.
Yep.
Tried to curl up and got smacked in his back. Looked like he was kind of shaking up on the play. Looked
I
like he
thought he
had to
was hurt
tough through that
again.
one. I thought he was going to be hurt again too, but it was good to see Saquon Barkley get up. For me on this one, this it's a tough concept for me here with franchise quarterbacks. Y'all know that. I had a long discussion on this show on a Giant
Sure did.
Overreaction with Entertainer Talking Sports about that. What is the definition of a franchise quarterback? And for me, a franchise quarterback is a guy that can lift his team up beyond the X's and O's and beyond the talent deficiencies that a team might have on their roster. To me, Daniel Jones is not that. Now, is Jalen Hurts that? I don't know yet because we've only seen about 16 games here. And
Yep.
from Jalen Hurts, he does seem like the kind of guy that when things go wrong can make a play out of nothing, a little bit more than a guy like Daniel Jones. Now, does that scream that he's the long-term answer for his team? I think somebody said it in the chat best. Both these quarterbacks are probably going to be on these rosters going into next season, but neither one of them strike me as really a franchise guy. I think that right now I still got to lean towards my gut feeling of how I felt going into this game, that Jalen Hurts has a better shot at correcting his passing problems than Daniel Jones has a better shot at correcting his pocket presence problems right now, going into, 3.5 years into his career now. We're going to be going into year 4 here, and we still can't be talking about these same issues with Daniel Jones. And the other thing about Daniel Jones is, we can't just overlook what happened in the past with him in his first 2.5 seasons of football. Daniel Jones right now in the league, he's 19th in yards at 2,428 yards. He's 24th in touchdowns with 10 touchdowns on the year. He's 14th highest in interceptions right now with 7. His QBR on the year is 40.9. That's 25th in the NFL. He has still had 0 back-to-back games this season with multiple touchdowns. He's sitting on 50 touchdowns and 49 turnovers in 38 games as the starting quarterback for the New York Giants. And to me, right there, that number right there lets you know that's not the franchise guy. I don't care how much he's cleaned it up this year. To have 49 turnovers in 50 games is ridiculous, or in 38 games is ridiculous. You're now averaging more than 1 turnover per game. The other thing about Daniel Jones is he's on, I like to look at games where a quarterback can get into rhythm, because when you're a guy who's I won't say Daniel Jones is a game manager, but when you're a guy who's around that threshold of a game manager, you have to be able to, 1, take care of the ball, and 2, you got to be able to find ways to put up multiple touchdowns for your team. When you get down in that red zone, you got to find a way to put your team in the end zone. Now, Daniel Jones, in his 38 games, he's thrown for 1 touchdown in 11, or I'm sorry, he's thrown for more than 1 touchdown in only 11 of those 38 starts. So you're looking at 27 starts where this kid went out there and only put up 1 touchdown or less. To me, that is not a good statistic that you want to see from your franchise quarterback. Now, can we win with this quarterback? I do think we could win with this quarterback, but you're going to have to put a perfect team around him. And it just makes me think about other quarterbacks who are like right on the cusp of this kind of a situation. When you see a guy like Dak Prescott fail, you can't. There's no excuses to make for Dak Prescott. He's got great weapons around him, a great offensive line, and a great running back around him. Last year, I know a lot of Cowboys fans were looking towards that defense, saying that defense is the number one reason why the Cowboys can't win games, and they might very well have been. And this year, they got that defense a little bit cleaned up. I think when you look at the Cowboys offense, you don't go, Dak Prescott is the problem, even with the weapons. When I look at the Giants offense, at times I say that Daniel Jones is the problem, especially when you look at the bad games that he has. You could look at the good games, but outside of the Saints game, Daniel Jones has been the same quarterback throughout the whole year. He's been a guy who puts up 1 decent game manages, maybe 1 touchdown, maybe 2, and then he comes back and he falls flat. Have a game like he did against the Rams, or have a game where he's trying to do too much like he did against the Cowboys. So for me, with the Daniel Jones thing, I'm going to take the U on Daniel Jones. I've seen enough. I think the evaluation period for Daniel Jones is over. We know what he is. Not to say that, you can't put the team around him and maybe make a run. I think that's very possible. But he's not the guy that's going to make this team go up and beyond. Now, when I go to Jalen Hurts, 2,435 yards on the season right now. That's 18th. 13 passing touchdowns is 21st. He's 17th in interceptions with 8 interceptions. His quarterback, his QBR is not that much higher than Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is at 25th. Jalen Hurts' QBR is at 47.9, and he's sitting at 22nd. Like, to me, that says more about Daniel Jones, because we've seen Jalen Hurts. We know Jalen Hurts right now, he struggles throwing the ball. That's just plain as day. But he makes plays with his feet. Right now, he's got 122 rushing attempts for 695 yards. That could be a running back on the New York Giants right now. He's got 8 rushing touchdowns on the season, and when he gets in the red zone, he capitalizes. I think Sirianni really got away from the game plan, the bread and butter for Jalen Hurts in this game, which is just running the rock, just hammer the rock. You look at the first 7 weeks for the Philadelphia Eagles where they completely struggled, and they looked like the team that I thought they were going to be. I got the Eagles at 5-11 ending the season when I did my predictions at the beginning of the year. Sirianni got away from the run. In a game where they were only down by 1 score for most of the game, they had 33 runs to 31 passes, okay? 33 runs to 31 passes. In the beginning of the year, in the first 7 games, they were run 40%, pass 60%. Since week 7, they've been run 60%, pass 40%. And going into this game, if I was a Philadelphia Eagle fan, I would have looked for that number to go higher against the Giants. Yep. I would have wanted to go, 70-30. Instead, you're looking at a game plan that is about 50-50 with the 33 runs and 31 passes. The Eagles had 11 rushing first downs in this game to the Giants' 4 rushing first downs. And sometimes when you just caught in the sauce and you on the sideline, you don't notice what's really happening. But as a fan, I saw it from up top. I could see it. I was like, yo, all they got to do is run the ball. They'll be in good hands. But then they started to run out of time late in the game, got the ball back with 111. They're forced to throw the ball. This one game is not going to change my opinion on Jalen Hurts. I'm going to keep it funky with you. I think Jalen Hurts has a better chance at being the franchise guy. And honestly, I know Eagles fans are down on Jalen Hurts today. I went and I was going through Philly 500 streams. I saw Philly Notion pop up on the Hub stream. I went and I checked out Joey Shakes on his stream. All of them was down on Jalen Hurts, you know. And your quarterback's going to have awful games like this sometimes. We saw it with Daniel Jones. But I think that this does not speak towards the total body of work for Jalen Hurts so far through 16 games. So for Jalen Hurts, I got to take the push. For Daniel Jones, I don't think this is an overreaction. I got to take the U. You know, I got to give Jalen Hurts his just due, and let me see what he looks like in year 3. Right
Yep.
now, his statistics look almost identical to Lamar Jackson in his first 16 games. There's a meme going around Twitter right now where Jalen Hurts' numbers are almost identical to Lamar Jackson. We saw Lamar Jackson get the faith that he needed instilled by his coaching staff in year 2. We really saw that. And then that's when you saw Lamar Jackson lead the league in passing touchdowns and be one of the most deadliest runners we've seen in NFL history. Maybe Jalen Hurts could be a type of hybrid quarterback like that relies on his legs a little bit more than he relies on his arm. I think we're entering a new day and age in the NFL where those quarterbacks can maybe see more success than the traditional pocket passers who don't have a pocket presence like a guy like Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I think it's time to start asking a question though. And I believe it's so too. The offensive line is hurting this offense. But are we in a situation where our quarterback is hurting our run game and offensive line?
Quite possibly. I mean, you think about a true, you know, and this was one thing that I noticed about Jalen Hurts. I tweeted this out during the game. The way he runs read option and RPO, it is so sharp.
Yeah,
All
it's
the
sharp.
movements, the mechanics, the fakes, the ball fakes, everything is sharp. And when you look at the Giants run RPO and run read option, it looks pretty sloppy. It looks like a quarterback who's not quickly getting out in front of his blockers, you know, or once he reads the defensive end collapse down on the running back when you run in read zone, he's not quick to get out of there like a guy like Jalen Hurts. So, I mean, I do think that, yeah, you bring in a quarterback like Jalen Hurts from New York, yeah, it could make the running game look a lot better. But then some of the crossing routes that you see Daniel Jones connecting on with the wide receivers and things like that, you're going to regress in that department for sure. But the Giants offense has just been lackluster for the whole year. Outside of that Saints game, I think that is what it is. And you look at Daniel Jones in his rookie year that a lot of people like to compare. The game against Washington is the one, you know, the one outlining game that just looks a lot different than every other game that he played. I expect Daniel Jones to put up big numbers against the Lions, which he did in 2019, and I expect him to put up big numbers against the Jets, which he did in 2019. Had over 3 touchdowns in both of those games. And Washington, Daniel Jones has played well against Washington. But those games, those are just, they don't say who Daniel Jones is as a quarterback when you have these games that just stick out here and there where you throw for multiple touchdowns. I'm looking for him to put it together in back-to-back games and put this team on his back. You know everything's riding on it here in year 3. I just don't think he's the guy. And shout out to Young Man. I see Young Man in the
Yeah,
chat
young
chopping it up
man,
with
him
a
and
few.
Bagdog been going at
Yeah,
it.
young Man was in the stream with Entertainer Talking Sports where I was, you know, it was right before the Bucks game where I was just pointing out all facts about Daniel Jones. He's average, he's average, he's average. And that was the conversation that got me into the situation where people said I was bullying people to support Daniel Jones. But I just like to keep it funky, bro. I just keep it real. Everything I say is always going to be my opinion, and then for the most part, is going to be statistical facts. Like when you got guys like Taylor Heineke out here looking better than Daniel Jones, that
Right.
does not say a lot about our quarterback situation. You know, we're comparing Daniel Jones to guys at the bottom of the league in year 3. I don't care what is out there. He's dealing with a professional offensive line. I don't care if it is Nate Solder. Tom Brady had years with Nate Solder where he made Nate Solder look like a fantastic left tackle when we all know he's not
Exactly. You got
a
him to
decisive
be one of the
quarterback, man.
paid highest left tackles in the league because Tom Brady made him look so good
Yeah,
with his
he
pocket
got him
presence.
that money, man. He got him that money, and there is nothing better than a decisive quarterback. A decisive quarterback will make every offensive lineman look better, and sometimes a mobile quarterback can make every offensive lineman look better by just escaping. When people go back and you look at, you know, time to throw statistics and things like that, a lot of that gets, you know, expanded when you got a quarterback like Jalen Hurts or a guy even like Zach Wilson who led the league before he got hurt in time to throw. he was having 3.1 seconds to throw the ball, where guys like Daniel Jones are in the middle of the road, middle of the pack around guys like Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, and other quarterbacks like that, sitting around 2.7 seconds. It's not that much longer, but when you have a young quarterback, the more time you can give him to throw the
Maneuvering.
ball, the more better.
Yep. And I asked that question out there because who in the league respects Daniel Jones?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah, nobody. Outside
Nobody.
of the Giants fan base, people were like, when I searched Kitchens and I searched Daniel Jones on Twitter, I mean, there's a lot of bad comments about Daniel Jones. People were just like, Philadelphia Eagles fans, like, we got outplayed by the worst quarterback in the NFL. I wouldn't go as far as to call Daniel Jones the worst quarterback in the NFL, but his consistency issues have definitely been a problem. And you're talking about a guy where the Giants dealt with a year and a half of just the most turnovers you could possibly see from a quarterback. Since 2019, Daniel Jones leads the league in turnovers at the quarterback position, right there with Jared Goff being 2 turnovers behind him. I want
Same
to say,
dude.
he's been the same quarterback since day one, if you ask me, and hasn't really improved that much. The one thing I would say he has improved on is he's got he's making a more conscious effort to not turn the ball over, which in return, though, I think is making him play a little less reckless. And in that, return, you're seeing that he's not throwing the ball down the field that much. I think a lot of that has to do with Daniel Jones, not Jason Garrett, and not Freddie Kitchens, and not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
Joe Judge.
And the thing about it is, what I mean by who in the league respects Daniel Jones, a lot of defenses don't respect his way that he can read the field. So that's why we see so much press coverage. That's why you see linebackers able to do whatever they want in coverage, because they know that for the most part, this guy's going to be a one-read quarterback. When he does show that he can scan the field, usually the receiver is wide open, because those linebackers, they're going right underneath those routes that we were calling with Jason Garrett, knowing that he's going to throw it right there. That Farrell Cooper catch, that should have been a pick. And he's done that in multiple games. Like, you don't understand that these people are waiting for that and cutting right underneath that. So it's I think it plays its part. I would love to see what he could be with a good offensive line, but you shouldn't have to have a top scale offensive line that just can hold the pocket. We want an offensive line that can hold the pocket for him for 5 seconds, 10 seconds back there. Just let him do this until you find somebody open. That's not normally the case. I've only seen that one time, and that was 1 year with the Patriots. And that's when Tom Brady went absolutely nuts, when him and Moss were doing it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, Tom Brady, his pocket presence, that dude is slower than molasses. But that dude can maneuver in that pocket. Man, that dude's footwork is a thing to watch. I would want Tom Brady to do quarterback school after he retires, whenever that is, probably 5 years from now, and show quarterbacks how to maneuver in that pocket and use your feet. Peyton Manning,
he's the
best same exact way. Peyton Manning, the same exact way. Drew Brees, the same exact way before he lost his arm.
Yep.
The greatest at doing that, man.
And some of that might just be natural. Aaron Rodgers
some of them might just be natural.
He can make throws off his back foot. Last night I saw a throw in the red zone where they didn't convert on 3rd and 10 to Randall Cobb, but like Aaron Rodgers off his back foot, I mean, the throw is just dead on, and if Cobb doesn't get hung up on a defender there, it's a touchdown. But I want to highlight this comment from Bad Dog too. This is a really good point here. Daniel Jones, 37 career games. He had 13 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in 3 of those games. The other 34 games in his career, he has 32 touchdowns and 29 interceptions. That is a big sample size. I couldn't agree with you more on that, Bad Dog. That's a great point. That's kind of like what I was leaning towards. I know Tim from Online Big Blue has brought up the point about the 3 games from 2019, and if you remove those 13 touchdowns, you're looking at 11 touchdowns in 9 games from Daniel Jones instead of 24 and 12. And I never wanted to hang my hat on 24 touchdowns from Daniel Jones his rookie year. Anyway, let's not forget that Eli Manning in that exact same offense, I know he had Saquon Barkley on the field. He had 21 touchdowns and 11 interceptions in 2018 with 4,200 yards, still balled out. So we know that with that personnel group, what the kind of cap is on the numbers for a guy like Eli Manning should be a lot higher for a guy like Daniel Jones, who's a lot younger, a lot more athletic, more mobile than Eli Manning, but the feet is a great point that you made there. I think a lot of that might just be a God-given talent that some of these quarterbacks have. I think Taylor Heinicke is fantastic in the pocket at being able to just
I love that little dude. I hate him, but I love him.
His arm strength is awful.
Yeah, his arm strength is trash, but I love the guy's tenacity. He got heart, and he's shown that he could be a leader He just might not. He just might not have the arm talent to be the guy.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, that's
arm
facts.
talent matters. Arm talent matters. Well, you got to make those throws in tight windows and tight coverage. He can't do it because I don't think he has the arm strength. But I'm gonna let you go to
Yeah,
your
that's
super
real right
chat.
there, man. Shout out Kathinji Kanoti one time with the $10 super chat. He says, look at Stafford struggling with that coach and those weapons. Even in good situations, it's difficult. Can DJ ascend and carry a team? Evidence so far says no, but our coaches aren't helping either. I mean, I almost don't even got a response to that, Kathinji, man. That's
Right.
that's spot on right there. The coaches definitely aren't helping him. You know, you would think that they would find a way to scheme this up a little bit, a la the New England Patriots right now with Mac Jones, that are making things very simple and simplifying that offense for a young rookie quarterback out there who's not mobile at all, getting the ball out of his hands quickly, which is what I do think that Jason Garrett was trying to do with this quarterback. It just didn't work out for him. And when you got guys like Evan Ingram out there who this year hasn't been, the main culprit of the interceptions. But when you got a guy you can't trust like that, throwing short routes to him, popping passes up in the air, we saw one in this game that almost got intercepted. It's hard to build confidence in the quarterback and have confidence at the quarterback position as well. So for me, Daniel has not shown that he can just ascend and carry a team for sure. I'm in total agreement with you on this one, Kathinji.
Yeah. Can you imagine Captain DJ? I mean, man, it's hard, bro, man, because you like the kid. You do.
Yeah.
He's a good kid. I just think that he has to be in I don't want to say perfect situation, but the situation has to be good for him to be a good quarterback, because I think a one touchdown, no turnover game is a good game for Daniel Jones. And that's not the guy if that's a good game for your quarterback. And you're never going to be on a team where he can give you that if he does multiple turnovers, you can overcome it. It's just not going to happen. He's going to have to play a clean game, and you're going to have to take what you can get from Daniel Jones. Now, hopefully he could prove me wrong if we could get an offensive line in front of him, because I do believe we're going to be with this quarterback next year. It would be the smart thing to do. Get an offensive line first and let him show you that he's not the guy, then get rid of him. Or you bring in some veteran competition next year. You let them battle it out in the preseason or whatever you got to do. Maybe that lights a fire under them. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's just that.
You would hope.
Yeah, I know. It's just that deep. Like I said, I've lost subscribers too, man. DJ's just not the guy, bro. He's not the guy that you want him to be. I think he's a quarterback that's in the wrong situation. He's a quarterback that needs to be in a situation where you got an offensive line established and a running game. The Denver Broncos is a place that I like for him.
Broncos, yeah. And the Broncos seem to be a team that no matter who the coaches are over there, they find a way to run the ball. And
Yeah.
we talked about that earlier, how Daniel Jones, he's the kind of quarterback that needs the running game. And speaking on Taylor Heineke, I think he's the exact same way. When you look at Taylor Heineke's struggles, when they struggled against the Bills and they struggled against what was that last game where he had a horrible game? I can't remember who it was. It was the week before the Bucks, I want to say, where they struggled mightily. The running game was just not there because Antonio Gibson had that shin injury, and he's just unable to really get the yards to sustain drives. So now they're relying on Taylor Heineke down in and down out, and that's just not the formula. It's the same exact thing that happens with the New York Giants. When you got to rely on Daniel Jones to make all the plays by just dropping back in the pocket and making throws, he's not going to be the guy that fans want him to be. And we're talking about a 6th overall pick that, at this point in his career, I think it's time that he should be elevating. He should be, on the cusp of being that guy that's a veteran presence in the locker room. And instead, we're still treating this guy like a rookie a little bit. So we got a couple more games left here in the season. The Giants get their 4th win. And, we're still in the mix a little bit here. It's not a lost season yet. For one question I wanted to ask you is, how many wins do you think it's going to take for the Giants here rounding out this season to feel confident in Joe Judge being the head coach going into 2022?
7 or 8.
7 wins to do it for you?
I think we need to beat the Dolphins. I think the fan base will accept a loss to the Chargers and the Cowboys, but we need to beat the Dolphins, Bears, the Eagles, and Washington.
Yeah.
So if we could get 7 or 8 wins, I believe Joe Judge is your coach next year. Gettleman will be fired. He's going to bring back Patrick Graham. Who knows what they'll do at offensive coordinator. If he'll bring in somebody from the outside, Hopefully he can. But if not, it would be Freddie Kitchens, I believe. I'm gonna be honest with you, just for myself. You're the head coach, so now firing Jason Garrett, that just put the light on DJ and Joe Judge way more for me.
Yeah.
Because now I know these decisions are Joe Judge's. You still deciding to put Nate Solder on the field for whatever reason. You got Matt Pert there. You got to see what you got. You see what I'm saying? A good head coach would do that. You see that Nate Solder is washed. You see it. I'm bringing Brett Hagee off the practice squad, and when Billy Price starts to mess up, I'm just going to put in Brett Hagee and see what I got with Brett Hagee. If Wilson is doing as good as everybody say they is in the Giants camp, put him at right guard. What's the hurt? You know what Hernandez is. He's been in the league 4 years.
Yeah.
You know what
That's
Nate
facts.
Solder is. You know what Nate Solder is. You know what Billy Price is. He's a bust. Why you think the Bengals got rid of him so fast? Oh, you really give me BJ Hill for Price? Here you go.
Yeah, like let's go.
Take him, please. I mean, so a good head coach puts people in positions to where, okay, show me who you are. That's what I've been saying from like week 5 after we started off just trash. Show me who you are. I'm gonna put you on the field and you're gonna show me who you are. And then I could process to know if I can get rid of you or not.
Yeah.
If
And
I
I
put
like the
that
point
up,
that Kathinji made up there about the
yeah,
Rams with their struggles right now, because we know they got one of the best offensive minds over there in Sean McVay, and they got all the talent in the world over there. We know they lost Robert Woods for the season, but you got Odell Beckham
yeah,
over
that
there
hurt.
who, it was good to see him have a good game. Y'all know I'm a big Odell Beckham fan, got the jersey
Yeah, he
hanging on
got him a
signed.
touchdown. I'm
Got him a
proud of him.
touchdown, 5 catches for like 80 yards. And they're struggling over there as well. But here's the thing about that Rams offense. They not struggling like this New York Giants offense is. They're
Right.
still putting up big
Struggling is
points. They had
26
28
points to
points.
them.
Exactly. So that it's a whole different thing going on over there. But I did like the point that he brought up that you are seeing some struggles from the quarterback play from Stafford, who has kind of been used to being in a position like that Daniel Jones is in right now, where you have to elevate and uplift the guys around you. And when you try to do a little bit too much, how in return that can turn to things like pick sixes, which to me was the
Mm-hmm.
biggest difference in that game yesterday for the Rams was that pick six. When you're down by 13, you can't throw a pick six and allow a team to go up damn near 21
20.
points entering the fourth quarter is not a good look. And I see Bad Dog. He made a point here. This is not in response to what we saying up here, but this was in response to somebody in the chat. He said, unfortunately, all the coaching in the world can't change instincts. You either have that or you don't. And I think that's the
That's
biggest problem
true.
why we got to move on from
That's
Daniel
true,
Jones.
bro.
For me, going into next year, I'd like to see, this is another game where you're using Daniel Jones as a game manager. He managed the game well, no turnovers. We know he can do that. So it's like there's no more evaluation. If the Giants lose another game where we're expected to win, I'd like to see Mike Glennon get a start with the first team, just to
Mm,
see what it is
man.
and see how what kind of a hit this offense might take, even if it's just for a first half. I'd like to see him prep for a week with the first team and just get a couple of quarters to just see what'll happen, because they're both. The reason why I like the move on Mike Glennon this year at the backup quarterback over a guy like Colt McCoy is because the stature and the style of play is very similar to what Daniel Jones does.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to see how he reads the field, and just if we have more success, maybe putting up points on the board. Because the one thing that we know Daniel Jones cannot do right now is throw open his wide receivers. He has to see it get open and then throw it. And the best quarterbacks in this league, they don't play football like that. They wait till guys, are about to break on routes and they throw the ball before they're open. And when they're coming out that route, that ball is right on you. I mean, even we see people doing that on the high school level, quarterbacks throwing wide receivers open. So for us to be doing this in the NFL, and waiting this long on a guy like Daniel Jones and just blaming it on everything but Daniel Jones is what a lot of fans are doing. They're blaming it on the play calling. They're blaming it on the offensive line. They're blaming it on Saquon Barkley. You remember how long we blamed it on Saquon Barkley being injured? We're like comparing statistics of Daniel Jones with and without Saquon and just saying, wait till Saquon gets back. And now that Saquon's back, nobody can use that excuse. And
Right.
now the last excuse that the Giants have to use for Daniel Jones is the offensive line.
Yep.
I just
That's
think
your
we're in a
last
day and age
excuse.
now where we can't keep relying on that offensive line, man. Daniel Jones has got to step up. And for me, you just named the 4 games that look like winnable games on our schedule. Um, that was the Miami Dolphins game. the Chicago
The
Bears game,
Eagles.
the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington football team. Even if we go out there and we win those 4 games and we end the season with 8 wins, I want it to be impressive. I want it to be where I'm looking at that quarterback going like, yeah, it's clicking now. Maybe Freddie Kitchens did help him get, his feet wet and get himself confident to be able to go out here and make those plays. But I gotta agree with what Bad Dog's saying here, man. A lot of this is just instinct. And I saw a little big argument pop off here in the chat. Y'all know what it is, mods. Keep things
I
cool.
said it, man. I'm telling you. When Bad Dog said it, I told people were gonna like it. And so
Yeah, a lot of people don't like that. And man, I'm not here to it's just like a quarterback situation as a coach, man. I'm not here to I don't want to coddle fans. I want you to come to Awthentik in the Beard. And when I got a guest like Big Pat featured, I want you to feel more confident in how you feel about this team moving forward by assessing our opinions and taking your opinions into account too. I'm not saying just go completely die hard on my opinion here. I hate when I see that from fan base of other content creators where it don't matter what that guy says, you're going to agree with it. I like to try to present points and try to bring up my reasonings of why I feel a certain way.
Give me some
and
dialogue.
for me, yeah, to create the dialogue that might make you change your opinion. I hope that when you cross paths with Awthentik, it makes you a better person and it makes me a better person. I tweeted that out the other day. So these are just my opinions. These are just Big Pat's opinions. You're welcome to have your opinion, but for me, I'm agreeing with my homie Bubs one time in the chat right here, man. There's no more excuses. There's just no more excuses here. We got to see good play out of this quarterback. The offensive line kept him upright in this game. I don't even think he got sacked on the day. So on a day like that, I want to see the quarterback go above and beyond. 4 turnovers from the defense. I want to see that quarterback put up big points on the day. Should have blown out the Eagles in this game. If we had any decent showing of this offense, we would have blown out the Eagles in this game. It should have been 14-0 at the half, maybe 14-3 considering the Jalen Hurts mistake he made before the half. But the Giants' offense is just the same old story. It's been about 10 years of this. So I know Giants fans are getting impatient. And we just want to see this offense get going. And that's why I was so against the trading of Odell Beckham, because he was the one player that made this offense move. Now we got one more player that we got in the draft that we're sure can make this offense move in Kadarius Toney. But he's got to find a way to stay healthy and stay on the field. And I think, all the Giants fans that were looking at Jason Garrett, find a way to get this guy the ball, find a way to get this guy on the field. Now you're kind of starting to see why it was like this in the beginning of the season. Kadarius Toney just cannot stay healthy. Going to have to maybe hit that weight room in the offseason and find a way to be able to take these hits and not get these what I call bang-up injuries, where it's you get hit on the ankle, you get hit on your wrist or your thumb, and, these are little things that are going to keep you out the game. So, I think we got a playmaker. Probably going to have to make a move on a couple other playmakers. I don't see why the Giants shouldn't be in the quarterback market in the offseason. Do what you got to do, assess the draft. I'm going to do the same thing and try to find a way to make this a better team.
A whole lot. I've assessed it a whole lot. It's only about 2 quarterbacks that I want. But let's get back to no more excuses thing.
Yeah.
And we can run through them. First excuse, Dan Jones doesn't have any weapons. Check. Second excuse, Jason Garrett. Check. Third excuse, Saquon Barkley. Check. The last excuse you have is the offensive line. Then what? You see what I'm saying? All those 3 of the 4 excuses that you have been checked, and he still hasn't progressed. So that's why you get the sayings that Awthentik come up to be like, hey, look, I think this guy needs everything to be perfect for him to do anything. And it's looking true. And when you're the guy, I don't know what some fans think the guy is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you think that the guy is just a guy that could go out there and not turn the ball over. You can get any quarterback to really do that. All you got to do is make the game plan conservative. Unless he's a true dummy, he's not going to turn over the ball. The guy elevates his team no matter what goes on. The guy is somebody like a Lamar Jackson that could go out and throw 4 interceptions, but that team still plays hard. Like he never threw one of those interceptions at all.
Not scared to take the risk.
Not scared to take the risk. If Lamar Jackson was the guy, do you think they beat the Browns? Do you think that sideline still be going on and patting him on the shoulder talking about, man, we finna get this ball back for you? Because they know what he can do. They know he just needs one good drive and it's a wrap. You know what he can do. You can make fun of Lamar Jackson if you want to, but that guy's an MVP. An MVP.
And a lot of people were saying it about Lamar Jackson. The same story you're hearing about the can't throw. There's
Yeah,
so
they
many
say the
people that were
same
saying
thing
that,
about
and
Jalen
then he
Hurts.
goes and leads the league in touchdowns,
Yeah,
passing touchdowns, and right now Lamar Jackson is a top 15 passer and rusher, which is just
do you,
ridiculous at the quarterback position.
that's what I'm saying. Do you know this guy led the league in touchdown passes, and right after that, they still said he couldn't throw?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make any sense. If he can't throw, how did he lead the league in touchdowns? And
Shout out to homie Vauxhall one time in the building, man. Giants Nation in the building. You know what it is. He said people unsubscribe because they don't agree with your view is lame. You need to hear different perspectives. That's fact
right,
on it, man. That's fact on it. I got content creators on Twitter who have unfollowed me for a lot of the stuff I've said about Daniel Jones. I went on a trolling streak of showing every quarterback that had more touchdowns than Daniel Jones. This was around week 8.
oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah, I like to poke fun on Twitter. I don't ever try to take Twitter too seriously unless you try to
Me
come for me.
either.
When you come for me, yeah, we got to stand up and do what we do here. But yeah, a lot of people just unfollowing, unsubscribing, just because they don't agree with the views of, especially how I've talked about the trade with Odell Beckham, how we lost that trade, and that's another thing we didn't talk about too much, Big Pat. Xavier McKinney is really making Jabril Peppers look super expendable now. Like we don't need
Oh,
that guy on the team.
Pepper been expendable. You put Julian Love right there. I think he can do everything Peppers does, and I think he can do it a little bit better, except for return punts. But other
Yeah,
than that, we need to give Julian Love that spot. When Logan
yeah,
Ryan comes back, just give it to Julian Love. You got him right there.
yeah.
Let him and Robinson trade out in that spot because Robinson, I think, is a very physical corner as well, and he could do the same thing. Peppers is
Yeah, and
gone
I
in my
wonder how
mind.
this defense would have been with Logan Ryan out there on the field. I do. Logan Ryan is one of the players I really like. I love his leadership on his team. One of the rah-rah guys in the locker room doing all the talking, in the huddles before the game and all that. And he's one of our better tacklers in the secondary. Xavier McKinney is a ball hawk. We know that. The tackling needs to be improved for sure, but he's a ball hawk, and I think he can be a superstar in this league one day for sure. I forget, what's he sitting on, like 4 interceptions this year now?
Who McKinney?
Yeah,
He's got 5. He should
he's got
have
5.
8. He should have 8.
Yeah, he had a
That
couple
kid,
drop ones.
yeah, that kid right there. If he just trusts his instincts, he could be one of the top safeties that play this game. Period. And
Yeah,
that's not an overreaction with me.
at all.
Every time you see him just barely miss the play, it's because he didn't trust his instinct right there.
Yeah.
Because he should have had 3 interceptions in that game.
I love
That
the
one
one where
pass,
he stopped Quez Watkins across the middle. You saw Quez
right?
Watkins wanted to run a deep crossing route, and he had his man. He had the cornerback beat on that one. And you see Xavier McKinney get a jump on the ball and get right between that in a pivotal
Just
situation.
shot right. I didn't know that kid had that speed coming out of college. I thought he was a power safety
Yeah,
until he started showing. I'm like, man, this dude could get sideline to sideline with the best of them.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
not throwing that ball deep. If your quarterback doesn't look him off, that's a pick every time.
That's facts,
That's a
man. I,
pick.
I love what I'm seeing out of that kid. And Bad Dog says here, people cannot debate these days. Different generations, man. That's 1,000 right there. People getting
Yeah,
their feelings
it
over
is, bro.
everything these days. He says, "LOL." Yeah, that's facts, man. And I think that like when you've watched football for a while and you've seen quarterbacks come in and have success, like a Eli Manning, and you've seen quarterbacks come in and have a little bit of success and then kind of fail with the Giants, even like a Kurt Warner or like a Kerry Collins,
Yeah.
Dave Brown. There's so many quarterbacks, that we've seen over the years as people who are 30 plus years old. Some of these fans, what I always try to remember, and sometimes I don't, they're a lot younger. They've only seen Eli Manning and they only seen it work in the Giants blue uniform. So, for me, even with Eli Manning, I was one of the people that was like sticking with Eli through the bad play. And I remember my homie
Mm-hmm.
who's the reason why I'm a Giants fan, my young homie Pat. Um, he was like, I'm done with Eli. And for me, looking back at it in hindsight, I might have not gave Eli that long leash that I gave him as a kid, as an adult, because now I've seen quarterbacks come in this league. When you get to like that 4th year, man, it's like if you haven't really put the play on the field and shown any flashes that you could be the guy to take this team to a big
You
game or at
gone.
least take them playoffs deep, you got to be gone. So, for me with Daniel Jones, it's like I hung my hat on that quarterback for 2 straight years saying he's going to get it together. He's going to get it together because I saw good things. But now it's like when you see what he does well not improving, I think it's room for concern at bare minimum. And a lot of people like to say they hope they're wrong in situations like this. I don't know. This is one where I'm kind of like, I hope I'm right because I'm ready to see another quarterback lead the New York Giants to the playoffs. I really do hope I'm right because like I don't know. I just don't see it in Daniel Jones right now. He's just been the same quarterback for 2.5 seasons now. And then there's a part of him that's like, Eli Manning was goofy off the field, and he made goofy faces on the field. But when he dropped back to throw that ball, there was no lack of confidence coming from him.
Right.
And with Daniel
None.
Jones, it just don't look right to me. With my eyes, it just doesn't. It looks, even when he went to the sidelines and he went to go hug Freddie Kitchens, he looked like he almost tripped over himself, kind of like he just don't got that real swag from the quarterback position. So I'm gonna give him the rest of the season, and it looks like the Giants will probably have to use him next year.
Yep.
Like you said, I'm not too sold on any of these quarterbacks coming out. I've looked at now 2 games from Malik Willis, and I looked at the highlights. The highlights look great. He kind of looks like the kid that San Francisco drafted at
Trey
quarterback this
Lance.
year, Trey Lance. Kind of looks like he's got that kind of a vibe where it's going to take him some time to develop as well. So for me, in the quarterback market, I'd like to see the Giants go make a move on a proven guy. Go out there, try to get you a Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson, somebody like that, possibly. Don't bring in any type of bridge the gap kind of quarterbacks here. I don't want to see like a Teddy Bridgewater over here. I want to see a quarterback that we know going to come out here and ball. And hell, if it's got to be a guy like Aaron Rodgers and you trading away a couple of picks or whatever, I would take Aaron Rodgers over here all day. Just don't give them too much draft capital. Look at how the Rams built their team. I always look at the Rams, and the Rams have done a fantastic job building their team over there. And they got the quarterback last. That was one of the last pieces there with Von Miller and Odell Beckham over there at the wide receiver position. So I think you can build a team around an average quarterback. Once you find out that you got the team built around that quarterback and the quarterback seems to be the problem, which is probably going to be one of the questions on my next giant overreaction is Daniel Jones the actual problem? When you find that out, then you can wheel and deal Daniel Jones and try to make a move on a quarterback. I'm so upset that we couldn't get Justin Herbert here in blue, man, because that kid is
Man,
looking
I
like a
think Justin
franchise guy.
Herbert would have been dynamite with this team.
Yeah,
And another thing about Daniel Jones, you said it earlier, he's just not the guy that get people hyped to play. I think he's
yeah,
the guy that does it the other way around. He brings you down because it's like, damn, dude. Like, I think that's a major reason why Kenny Galladay is playing a little down, man. They don't believe in this cat, man.
yeah. I feel you on that. I
Only reason
definitely
why
feel
they
you on that.
tolerate him because he's a good dude. But other
Yeah.
than that, man, it's like, damn, dude.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you from my, when I played ball and how I played ball, I was always the leader on the field. I'm the guy that's going to be very vocal,
Right.
and you're going to feel that I'm not only holding myself accountable on the field, but I'm holding you accountable to my standards now. And I played the quarterback position. I'm looking at people being like, you need to make this play right here. You need to be focused here. This is the down and distance. This is the situation. This is how much time we got left. And when you can do that, I feel like you can actually raise the level of the way that people play because not only are they trying to let themselves down, they don't want to let you down.
Right. Does he say anything to anybody? Like,
Oh man,
man.
he seems like he was bullied as a kid. He got that vibe.
Right.
So
And
I'm,
it's
I'm looking
like,
for him to just step it up, man, and just be that guy. Be that guy. They're giving you all the opportunity in the world, and they're giving you the keys with no spare key. They're not saying, "Hey, we got Cam Newton on the bench, and if you mess up, we're taking you out." You remember when in any given Sunday when Willie Beeman came in the game and he was like, he told the coach, he said, "Man, it's just all moving too fast for me out there." And Al Pacino was like, "Look, man, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Our second string quarterback just got knocked out of the game with our first string quarterback. You the last
right.
option. So you got to get it done at the end of the day. We're not taking you out of the game." And I feel like Daniel Jones, with the way that Mara and Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge have set him up, they've set him up where it's like, look, there are no consequences and repercussions to the way you play. So you might as well go out there and just try to play well anyway. Stop being so conservative. And sometimes you got to take matters into your own hand because that's your NFL career that's on the line.
Right. And they're like, he's scared. I don't know if he's scared to make the throws or he just can't make the throws to throw receivers open. You
Right.
have the talent on this team to where if you throw your receiver open, something good is going to happen because you got 4.3 speed all over the field and you got a 50-50 catch radius guy. There's
Yeah.
no reason why you should have to have 4 seconds to throw the ball. Now, is this offensive line trash? Yes, it is. I promise you it is.
Yeah. O-line's
But
bad.
that doesn't give you the excuse to be just that average.
Yeah.
I mean, man, I don't know. Man, look, I love the kid, man. I'm always gonna root for him because he's a giant.
Yeah, same here.
But I want that feeling back to know that when my quarterback makes a mistake, if you get him the ball, he gonna bring it home for you. Everybody and their mama know they lying if they say that when Eli Manning got that ball at the end of the game. I don't care if that man threw 3 interceptions that game.
Yeah.
That defense went out there knowing that if we get this guy the ball back, he gonna bring it home for us.
And
even
that's the
his
difference
last
between
season.
those two quarterbacks, man. You feel like Daniel Jones, just like you said, when we got the ball late there, all you need is a first down. You feel like he's not going to elevate this team to get that first down.
Yeah, you just know it. You know it. It's like you go into the game with Daniel Jones, man. And sorry to all the Daniel Jones lovers. I'm not bashing the kid. I'm not
We still got love
saying
for
he's
y'all.
trash or anything. But when you go on that field every Sunday, all you're saying to yourself is, Daniel Jones, please don't fuck up.
Ooh, that's
That's
so
all you're
facts right
saying.
there. Ash Money got a great point right here as well, too. Shout out to Ash Money in the building. He says, I think the Giants being trashed since 2011 has caused some Giants fans to be content with average,
Yeah,
which is so true.
it
You get
has.
any spark of like not making mistakes, and it's like he had a great game. I even saw people saying that Daniel Jones lifted this team to a victory after the Sunday victory against
I don't know
the
how.
Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm just like, I didn't see it, man. That defense definitely did what they had to do to get us that dub, man. But right now we pushing that 2-hour mark. My man Big Pat came here, dropped a bunch of gems on Giant Overreaction with your boy Awthentik. Y'all know what it is, man. This was the Week 12 version of Giant Overreaction. If you are new here, man, make sure to sub up. Down there at the bottom, you know, that big red subscribe button. You know what it is, man. We do this show every Monday. We didn't do it last Monday and the Monday before that because we had to buy and we had the Monday night game. So I don't like to do the overreaction before we play. But shout out to Big Pat, man, for pulling up on Awthentik in the Beard. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know how we do over here. Any last words, Pat, before I get you up out of here one time, man, and do the closing remarks here?
Oh man, just thank you, man, for inviting me on the show, man. I always want to be on the show. One of the best shows you can look up if you're a
Thank you.
Giants content creator or you're just an NFC East fan. Period, man. Love the show. Don't know how you guys don't have 50,000 viewers. 50,000 subscribers right now. It's very professional, very dope. Love the beats. I've been shaking my head the whole time. I'm
Thank
telling
you,
you, I'm
man.
gonna write some raps to one of your beats, man. And you're gonna
Hey,
tell you
let's get it,
what you
man.
think.
Let's get it, man. You know that's my
But
department for sure.
exactly, but just thank you for the opportunity to come on, man, and let's beat Miami next week, man. Even with the average quarterback, I'm gonna support him until he's gone. But I'm telling you guys, man, he got one more season after the season, and then it's it. I promise you, it's it.
That's real, man. That's definitely real. I'm gonna pull up on you on Friday, man, for the film review that you do on
Oh
your
yeah,
channel. I'll
most
definitely be there, man. I
definitely.
love that vibe. We was probably on for like 5 hours, man, chopping it up about the film.
Yep.
That was really amazing, man. So y'all know what it is, man. Let's get some biceps in the chat. Big Pat, I'm gonna holler at you soon, brother. I appreciate you pulling up to the show, man. You now like my 7th guest on Giant Overreaction,
No, that's
and
what's up, man.
we definitely gonna have you back, man. I'm gonna bring you back for some more content for sure, man.
Yes, sir. You know I'm here, man. Just I guess a Twitter notification away. You know I'll be here.
You know what it is, man. Thank you again, man. I appreciate you pulling up, brother. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, y'all. Peace.
All right, fam. That's Big Pat Sports, man. Gave some really, really, really good points today, man. That was good chopping it up with a realistic Giants fan one time in the building, man. We talked about Freddie Kitchens' play calling. We talked, is this good enough to save anyone's job in NY? I pulled that from YouTube. The general consensus was that this is not an overreaction. We talked about a win is a win, but the Giants got lucky. And I agreed with the homie Tim from Online Big Blue on this one. This one is not an overreaction. And then we also talked about neither Daniel Jones or Jalen Hurts are the long-term answers for their respective teams. Kind of indifferent on this one about each quarterbacks. I had to take a little bit of a push on Jalen Hurts, and with Daniel Jones, I think we know what we've seen already, man. We still got about 40 people in the building one time. I appreciate y'all spending y'all afternoon with me here, chopping it up about the New York Giants, man. This has been a very tough season to stay committed. Y'all know what it is, man. I'm going to be here every week, 4 times a week for the Giants Nation, man. That's just what it is. Let me see them biceps in the chat one time for the homie Big Pat. We need some more biceps before we get up out of here. Y'all know what it is, man. The left side, strong side. Shout out to the Beard for setting me up on this stream, man, and getting everything proper. The graphics department, y'all know what it is. I had to let Big Pat know. Big Pat said, hey, y'all got a graphics department over there? I had to let Big Pat know that for real, it's just me and the Beard, man. We are a 2-man team here, so all y'all support goes a really long way for Awthentik and the Beard, man. This was a really good stream, man, and you know, like I said before, man, a win is a win is a win. The Giants got the W. Everybody out there, enjoy your victory week, man. This is going to be a good one. We got the Washington football team tonight taking on the Seattle Seahawks. That is going to be an interesting game. I'm I'm going to be definitely tuned to my screen close for that one. That's going to be a fun one. If the Washington football team takes an L in this game, that'll be everybody in the NFC East taking an L except our New York Giants. Y'all know what that is, man. So we're going to need them prayers, man. Y'all know what it is. The Giants are going to have to try to find a way to squeak out 8 wins and maybe find our way in the playoffs, man. This was some good engagement with everybody in the chat. It got super heated. Maria, I see you in the building. Love you, miss you. It was good to see you on Thanksgiving. I see the whole gang in the building. Zion's in the building, man. My man Ash Money still in the building one time. Y'all make sure to go sub to Ash Money. Vauxhall still in the building. What's up, fam? Glad to see you back here in the chat. Yo, everybody be good. Live those dreams, man. Keep raising that bar for yourself, man. Every day is another day of opportunity to get something done, man. I will catch y'all tomorrow for our NFC East recap show for all Sunday's games. We're going to be talking about that game tonight between the Washington football team and the Seattle Seahawks. The Dallas Cowboys taking the L to the Raiders, and the Philadelphia Eagles taking a L to our New York Giants, man. Big week for us. Y'all know what it is. Smile ear to ear, man. Once again, raise that bar. Keep raising that bar, y'all. Keep living those dreams, man. And over here at Awthentik and the Beard, nobody is a fan. Everybody is fam. Everybody is family. Hit that subscribe button on your way out if you're not subscribed, man. We're going to be doing this as we always do it. 4 days a week with Awthentik and the Beard. Monday overreactions, Tuesday recaps, Thursday previews, and Sunday we do the parlay where we do fantasy sports and betting advice, and we chop it up, and we take advice from the chat, and we take questions on that show too. That's probably one of my favorite shows. So make sure you pull up, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time sharp, man. Y'all be good. You know what it is. Peace.